Casino Studios. The next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final day here in Nashville for us. We're back in studio tomorrow. Everything's brought to you by our friends at mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag. You've got a ton of stuff to get into today. It's the Redmont Thursday here on the show. Redmont Vodka is sitting here. We're going to have Commissioner Greg Sankey coming up throughout the show at some point here. Maybe in the first segment, maybe in the second segment. He seems to be standing by, so not far away for Greg Sankey coming up here on the show. We'll talk to the SEC Commissioner, Jim Dunaway, Ryan Brown, Lance Taylor over there. The entire Nashville crew is here. Rockstar and Tyler back there in Birmingham in the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, keeping everything online today. It should be Tennessee's day since we're in Tennessee. They're here today. But I'm going to start off with my big takeaway today, LT, is about Lane Kiffin. And you noticed something about Lane Kiffin's day here as we talked to Neil McCready earlier. What did you think of Lane Kiffin?
Well, first of all, he's gotten a lot of sun. So I don't know where he's been vacationing, if he's got a tanning bed, he's playing a lot of golf, whatever. But coming into this week, that was the one thing nobody was really talking about. You know, Jimbo and Bobby Petrino, LSU possibly winning the West, maybe winning the SEC, Georgia three-peat. Nobody was talking about Lane Kiffin, and he always seems to be a story too.
He does. I don't know what it is. It's a great question. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know why he would be less of a discussion than he ever has been. I kind of feel like Lance, that it felt like, I mean, Hugh Freeze seemed a little higher profile here this week. Nick Saban always does. Kirby Smart always does.
Jimbo was
with all the storylines there. So I don't know. It is a little bit weird.
Yeah, sort of a weird feeling for Ole Miss, much like the end of their season. Quinshon Judkins, who's a star last year, I think he takes a step back this year. I'm sure these guys disagree this year, but he was great last year. He was here today. I just don't think he can put up the numbers he did last year again this year, but we'll see. But he said they fell apart at the end because of injuries on their team.
Quinshon Judkins said that?
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people disagree that was the reason.
Yeah,
and
a lot of people look at Lane and distraction.
Could have been a contributor, obviously. I mean, injuries are injuries, right? Could have been a contributor, but I think most of the blame gets pointed towards Lane Kiffin on that one. And his flirtation with Auburn, his dragging it out, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how to qualify it, but it certainly felt like once that storyline started to percolate, that was never the same Ole Miss team.
And we heard that was a done deal to Auburn, and you saw the internal shots he was taking at the press conference about the water leaking in the facilities. It just seemed like that bridge was burned. I wonder where his approval rating is right now with Ole Miss fans, because he seemed like a perfect fit, and I still think he's a good fit for that program, but I just wonder what fans think now.
I think anytime you pull a stunt like that, whether you are up for a job and don't take it, or you take the perception you're up for a job and parlay that into a bigger contract, you run the risk of burning capital with the fans. And I do think now when you couple that with, getting blown out by Arkansas, losing to your arch rival, and it looking like it's because you're a little bit distracted, you start to burn capital much quicker. And I think you see that. I think you see that with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
I think his approval rating was very high with Ole Miss fans, and I think he lost a little bit of it in the all season, and he's got to earn that back.
Yeah, and I think what they say, and he has matured some, but I still think he's one of those that if he has an 8-4 this year and he hears rumblings of some of the fan base not liking him, if he had an opportunity to go somewhere else, I think he would jump. And this is one of those jobs now, because when we were talking to Neil, you brought up the fact that he's a top 10 paid coach. He's making $9 million a year. I mean, why would you ever leave? Well, I think he would leave if he got on the wrong side of the fan base.
I think there's only a handful of jobs, though, Jim, that can pull you away from something like that.
I'm about to tell you about our friends at Legacy, but did I miss an endorsement deal that Lance got with the phrase approval rating this week? I mean, that has been a catchphrase for you, and I've enjoyed the conversation.
I didn't start it,
but
though.
It's like we're getting paid by approval ratings this week. Brown started?
Brown was the first one. He asked T-Bob about Brian Kelly.
Yeah, I did.
And so since then, you brought up approval rating.
Well, I just think there's some interesting spots for coaches right now in this league.
You've been conjunction with that approval rating all week long. You've been connecting it one interview to the other. What'd y'all say his approval rating was?
Who?
Lane. Don't move away from that without giving me a number.
60%.
I think that's fair. Maybe 70.
I don't know. I mean, he does.
I think it was 100 going into last season.
Yeah,
it was 100 when they were 7-1.
There's a lot of good he does, and then there's a lot of the other stuff you got to put up with if you're an Ole Miss fan with Lane Kiffin, right? There's a lot of good he does, though. I mean, the good he does is obviously he's had some good records. He has put you in a position where, I mean, Neil McCready is up on all of our social media, and Neil talks some Ole Miss with us, and he's up on YouTube. And we talked with him about the fact that Ole Miss would have been a college football playoff team a couple of years ago. And, you know, the year their only two losses were Auburn and Alabama, and they would have been right in the hunt for it this year going into that Alabama game. And if they would have found a way to beat Alabama, which ultimately they didn't, but if they would have found a way to beat Alabama, they would have solidly been in a 12-team playoff in either one of those years. So, I mean, that's where Ole Miss is not used to being. So I think on that you get pretty high approval ratings, but there again, he's burned some capital.
In the last 16 years, the road to hell is paved with the phrase, if only we could have found a way to beat Alabama.
No, you're absolutely right.
Our show is brought to you by our friends at Legacy, LegacyCreditUnion.com for all the details.
Why are all those teams going to hell?
Because they couldn't beat Alabama,
Okay.
man.
Right.
LegacyCreditUnion.com, the website. Find out about everyday checking. Find out about the lifestyle loan there. A great place to get auto loans for your car, your truck, right there at Legacy. They've been supporting the healthcare and the education industries of Birmingham for 6 decades, 60 years, and they're a huge supporter of UAB athletics. They bring you some of our coverage all year long about UAB football and basketball. That everyday checking, you get your direct deposit 2 days early, instant debit card issued to you, and so much more. And those lifestyle loans, if you've got an unexpected medical expense, maybe you want to take a dream vacation or something, you can do that with our friends at Legacy. Again, the website, LegacyCreditUnion.com, LegacyCreditUnion.com, federally insured by the NCUA. A couple more things to get to, including what we've done all week long in this first segment, talking about our social lives on the night in Nashville. And some of us are dragging. Some of us feel better today than we did yesterday. And some of us just don't want the week to end. So we'll get to all that in a second. One more thing, though, in this opening segment about today at SEC Media Days. Tennessee here, off of a great year. Josh Heupel, as my man Scott Forrester pointed out to me right before the show started, threw out the fact when asked about Texas coming to the league, Heupel makes a point. There's only one UT. In the SEC, there's only one UT, and that's Tennessee.
Yeah, I didn't hear the question. The answer is pretty funny, though. And, you know, there's no rivalry there to pour fuel on the fire because those teams never play. So it's not a rivalry yet. But maybe this will make it, you know, give it some rivalry elements there. Because you never know. Like, we know Texas is going to be a rival with Texas A&M and Oklahoma. Who else does Texas just all of a sudden kind of become a rivalry?
I don't know.
Oklahoma,
I can't remember that game.
Arkansas.
Have we seen that game before? Texas,
I can't remember Texas, Tennessee. I'm sure they played.
I think they have played somewhere because we talked about the
but not
contrasting
a lot.
oranges.
Our buddy Grant Firking from On 3 was talking about how Heupel has completely embraced the Tennessee tradition.
Yeah,
Like he's a Tennessee guy now. Because you know a lot of coaches are just getting a paycheck. Like Alabama, or Nick Saban has become an Alabama guy. I don't think he was an Alabama guy for a few years.
Oh no, I would agree, but you know,
yeah.
Yeah, he'll retire at Alabama.
I think Heupel's one of those.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on Heupel. I think I've never thought a lot of people think he'll take the Oklahoma job when it comes time for Oklahoma to move on from Venables or whoever they're going to move on from, that he'll take that Oklahoma job. I never thought that. I mean, like, I don't know. The Tennessee job, when it's going, is a really good job. What are you going to have at Oklahoma you don't have at Tennessee? Not to mention the fact that Heupel, there's apparently some bad blood from the Oklahoma days. So you put all that aside, even if there's not bad blood, what does Oklahoma have Tennessee doesn't?
But I agree with Heupel, too. I think there is only one UT right now in the SEC. If I asked you guys who gets to a college football playoff first, Tennessee or Texas?
Texas could do it this year.
I think Texas does. Yeah.
I don't think Tennessee can do it this year. I think Texas could. I don't think they will.
If not this year, then next. You know?
Yeah. I mean, once we go to the 12-teamer, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean,
Tennessee would have been there last year.
I mean, it's almost a toss-up once we go to the 12-teamer.
We've already got USC fighting with Southern Cal or other way around. You know, I don't think anybody in LA realizes that they're in a name rights battle with South Carolina, right? USC always talks about USC, and
It's weird. Like I bring up the fact to people, they're like, "So you went to Alabama and you pulled for USC?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "South Carolina?"
yeah,
I'm like, "They're not USC."
yeah,
Nobody outside the Palmetto State calls it USC.
and I've never heard of Texas being referred to as UT. I guess it
Yeah.
happens. Right?
Yeah, I've heard a little bit more of that from Texas, more so than South Carolina being called USC.
All right. Tell us about our friends at Gutter Cap, and then we'll get into our social night. And then Greg Sankey. You got Greg over there? Is he close? Nope. Okay. Let me know if Greg walks up. Gutter Cap.
205-823-2212. Cap it, don't snap it. Call our good buddy Chris Stewart. He will come out, give you an absolutely free estimate. Again, the last thing you want to do in the hot summer is get that dangerous ladder out. You get on the roof, you slip, you fall, you snap the deck and die. No good to the wife or kids. 205-823-2212. You can always go online, guttercapbirmingham.com.
Okay. Is that Greg's headset right there? Okay. I mean, he does,
I think they got this under control.
Okay. I'm just making sure. I mean, we're a relaxed, fun show, I'm told. It's no big deal if we talk about things going on off camera. Last night.
You're worried to death about Sankey.
Well, I don't want him sitting there waiting for 15 minutes. He's the commissioner. Now, we're going to talk about us last night. If the commissioner is at the door, I'd like to get him in here, and then we'll talk about
he won't
last
stand
night.
at the door.
Yeah.
His ass will walk right in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let's get
And
it.
he'll sarcastic comment right off the bat.
Hey, anytime you want to drive, you can go, and I'll just go ahead and
Hey,
take a nap.
Let's guess what the
love it.
sarcastic comment is. I think it's going to be my untucked shirt.
Maybe.
It will be
Yep.
that, the untied shoe, or the hat.
Yeah.
One of the three, guaranteed.
You won't touch the lack of buttons. You're trying to T-bob it up there.
I've only got one button on button.
So tell me about rapping on Broadway last night.
No, so I didn't even mean to do this, and I really didn't want to do this.
Incidental rapping? Is that what happened?
No, so what happened? We were at Clay Travis's party at what's the place called? Old Opry.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, Yeehaw
Old
Brewing
Smoky.
Company. Old Smoky. Old
Yep.
Smoky.
Yeah, they do moonshine.
So we were there and we stayed for a few hours, and when it started to wind down, we went to this tequila bar. But when we were leaving,
My favorite part is when you start trying to remember every place you went last night, because you told somebody earlier, yeah, I think I was at Tootsie's
yeah, I
last
think
night.
I was.
Tootsie's.
Yeah,
Tootsie's.
and it wasn't like
That's not, it did sound right.
it wasn't like I didn't know
Tootsie's.
where I was. It was just all those bars run together. Anyway, when I was walking out of Clay's party, I saw Barrett and some of his guys, and they were like, "Hey, come with us tonight. We're going to AJ's to do our annual karaoke." And first of all, I've never been to Gabriel's when they do the karaoke. I'm not a big karaoke guy.
You were a rookie last night.
So I go to the tequila bar that we've all been to, and I'm down there, and our buddy Richard Holland, he peels off. He obviously loves karaoke. I had no idea. And he keeps texting me, I'm at AJ's. I'm at AJ's. Come do one song. Come do one song. They want you to do a song. And I said, if you can find any Notorious B.I.G., if you can find Big Pop, I'll come do it. And he sends me back, you're up in 20. And so closed out, went over there, and like literally right when I walked in, they put me on stage.
As all artists should be. How do you think it went? Have you seen it?
I think it was shaky at first, and I think I got my groove midway through the song. So I think I closed well.
I found
it's a tough song,
yeah.
and I'd been drinking all day.
Rockstar, you don't do a ton of karaoke, do you? I mean, you just do live.
No, I'm not a fan of
live
karaoke.
events.
I think that's more of a fun party thing, and I'm not a fun party
Yeah, I've
guy.
seen Rockstar do it.
And I'll do something vague that people are like, what the hell was that? So I don't want to do like Dixieland Delight. So I'm not fun at karaoke bars.
Well, I mean, you're a professional, so I don't want to see a professional get up there and sing.
I don't
Right?
think
Those
that-
are my least favorite people at karaoke bars that can actually sing.
Well,
I'm
does-
like, great, you can sing. Go sing somewhere where I can put money in your tip jar. Karaoke people, I want to see people who are a shit show up there.
Yeah, well, look, Cheetos did a great job with the "It Wasn't Me" Shaggy song. I hate that song though, but one of Barrett's guys and another guy went up there, and when it came on, I was like, "Oh my god!" But the dude doing the Jamaican part, not the Shaggy part, sounded just like it.
Are you serious?
I mean, these dudes knew what they were doing. Barrett and his crew, those guys can karaoke. So apparently they do it a lot.
But I was going to tell Rockstar or ask Rockstar, in the limited times I've done it, the words move much faster.
Oh,
than
they
you think
do.
they're going to.
Well, and imagine drinking all day.
Well,
the best
I
is,
would imagine it's a mess then.
Everybody
But
feels,
Rockstar at the
okay.
time, have you noticed that?
Yes, but everybody who does it has a prop. They have to have their beer or their drink in hand because I don't want to just stand there with a microphone in my hand. I have to have my beer. And
They didn't allow it at AJ's.
Oh, really? They don't
Oh,
allow
I'm
it
not
up on
going to
stage?
AJ's.
Yeah, and I didn't know what AJ's was until I got in there and I saw Alan Jackson's picture everywhere, and I'm like, why in the hell do they have Alan Jackson everywhere? And then I was like,
AJ's.
AJ's. But you know what AJ's has got now?
What?
A next round sticker.
All right. They got plenty. Hey, if you'll look in the video, before I got up there, they were like, no drinks on the stage, as Rockstar was saying that.
Right.
But I conveniently, they've got a band set up, and on their drum kit is a next round sticker.
Love it.
Somebody's trying to peel that off right now. All right, that's what we did last night. Everyone else, fairly light night. I'm still tattoo-less. We'll talk to the commissioner, Greg Sankey, coming up on the other side. Precision Sports getting us in the game.
Yeah, for orthopedic care in Birmingham, remember this number, 205-512-3885. Orthopedic care, Precision Sports Medicine orthopedic providers, but believe those two words are better together. The Precision Orthopedic team of surgeons, specialists, and staffs. You can make an appointment with a Precision Sports provider today. Call 205-512-3885 or visit precisionsportsortho.com/2023.
Do we have Greg's headset? Are we good? Okay. I just nervous about that, apparently.
Clearly.
We're back in a moment. It's content, Brown. It's all content. We're back in a moment from Nashville on TNR.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
When choosing a lawyer, the most important factors are trust, experience, and results. Tommy James of the Tommy James Law Firm checks all these boxes. With more than 25 years of experience, he will take care of your legal needs. Anything from car accidents to wrongful death cases, Tommy has done it all. Case evaluations are free, so if you're looking for a lawyer to handle any type of personal injury case, call him at 205-259-1725 or check out TommyJamesLaw.com. Call today or email Tommy at TommyJamesLaw.com.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Did you tweak your shoulder putting up Christmas decorations? Injure your elbow shooting hoops in the backyard? Or hurt your knees getting up from the couch at halftime? Let 2023 be the year Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics gets your life back on track. Orthopedic care is better together. Find your provider today. Call 205-512-3885. That's 205-512-3885. Or visit precisionsportsortho.com/2023.
MyBookie.ag brings you our coverage of SEC Media Days 2023 live from Nashville. We'll be bringing you in-depth interviews with players, coaches, media members, and more, plus our live show every single day at a special time each afternoon. Be sure to follow us on all social media at Next Round Live so you don't miss a thing. SEC Media Days 2023 from Nashville, also brought to you by Moore's Marinades and Wing Sauces, Precision Sports Medicine, Michelson Laser Vision, and Woodbridge Wines.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick, the type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera, and the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. For 50 years, our friends at Wayne's have been doing things around your house that you don't have time to do. Warm weather is coming. You want that lawn looking great. You want mosquitoes not around. Our friends at Wayne's, they can help you out. Right now, they will do $50 off for each of those services to continue to celebrate their 50th anniversary. Again, our friends at Wayne's, they take care of all of us here on the Next Round. You don't want those mosquitoes. You want the lawn looking great. Call them today, 866-WAYNES1 or call Waynes.com.
Back with you to Nashville. Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, is going to be making his way in here in just a second. As he does, I'll tell you about one of our proud sponsors. That's the fine folks at the University of Montevallo. Greg Sankey understands every challenge of every level of college athletics. D2 sports, man. Montevallo's got it going on. 23 fully funded scholarship sports on the NCAA level there. A great place for your son or daughter to get an education. Great price point as a parent of a student at Montevallo. I love that part about it. A beautiful campus, according to Southern Living. Schedule an in-person tour right there at montevallo.edu. Montevallo.edu. Wrapping up SEC Media Days here, the commissioner in just a second. It has been fun, but one part of this, and just to let you guys in on what it's like to come to SEC Media Days. I don't know different lines of work. I guess there are annual conventions that some companies have that you like. I have a friend who's a State Farm agent, and every year they'll be like to Vegas for an annual convention, and you get to see all your friends who do State Farm all over the country. That really is what SEC Media Days is like, too, for those of us that cover the Southeastern Conference. You get to show back up and a lot of times see people you only see maybe once a year, maybe here and in Atlanta, maybe here and in the college football playoffs, but sometimes it's like the annual convention of the Southeastern Conference.
Yeah, it is a little bit. And what's funny, too, is especially in a place like this, it gets intermingled sometimes with other conventions. There have been other conventions, which I can only imagine what they're thinking. Like I showed up for my Pure Water convention or whatever, and every coach from the Southeastern Conference.
You remember when we stayed down the street for the SEC basketball tournament, and there was like a skin convention?
Yep. We were at the
plastic surgery, or
we were at the JW Marriott.
Yeah.
They had some sort of plastic surgery convention, and all the SEC basketball media. That was.
I think Lane Kiffin would have had more fun there than he did here today.
He would have. I'll tell you though, I would be pissed if I was staying at this hotel, because we had one of our friends saying earlier that when he was talking to people on Radio Row, the people that are staying here, they can't sleep at night because they're doing construction 24/7.
I got to get that bridge done, man. That's the Broadway Bridge. Do you know how big a pain that must be?
But I don't know what you do, man.
We've driven around in this town.
But I mean, I don't know what a room here on a regular basis is. Obviously, we get rates, but I would think it's $400.
Yep.
Probably. If I pay $400 and I'm coming into Nashville to hang out, yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
No, it would not be fun. That's the way my head felt yesterday morning when I woke up.
Yeah. I mean,
like
for those
had a jackhammer on it.
Yeah, for those that haven't been to Nashville, one of the bridges on Broadway, right at the Frist Museum, the Frist Art Museum.
Yeah, misspelled First Museum.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I think I'm going to tour that after.
Are you down? That bridge is out, and they're having to redo the bridge. So half of Broadway, I mean, basically Broadway is cut in half. And if you know anything about Nashville, man, Broadway is a pretty important artery to this city. So it's tough getting around.
So we have more time with the commissioner. Let me tell you about our friends at Storm Restoration Roofing. They'll bring you our conversation today with Greg Sankey. Greg from Pell City, a different Greg, right? One runs the SEC and college athletics. The other one runs Storm Restoration Roofing. He and his wife, locally owned for over 20 years, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. You can't beat Greg in the job he does. He'll give you a free no-cost roof inspection if you call this number up, 542-3531, 542-3531, or look him up on Facebook, Greg from Pell City. That no-cost free roof inspection with no obligation there. He just wants to get up on the roof and check and see if you got any loose shingles, maybe some water entry points or something like that. That is Greg from Pell City on Facebook, Storm Restoration Roofing. Check that out. Free, no cost. And he also, repairs your roof, replaces your roof, all that stuff too, not just a roof inspection. He does it all right there at Storm Restoration Roofing, 542-3531, 542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook for Storm Restoration Roofing. We'll get to our 40 and 40 team coming up a little bit later on. One other note of college football. Deion Sanders will not be at the Pac-12 Media Days tomorrow. He will have surgery on his foot that will prevent him from jumping out to Pac-12 Media Days. He'll send former Alabama assistant Charles Kelly in his place, who will be acting as the spokesperson for Colorado.
That's unfortunate for Colorado, for the Pac-12, and for Deion Sanders. I think he would have been the second biggest story out there, maybe the biggest. USC, UCLA, obviously last year going to the Big Ten, but outside of that, it would have to be Deion, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of talk about that, especially with the USC and UCLA contingents. But I think everybody kind of was excited about getting Deion out there. I mean, he is going to be moving forward the star of that media days.
No, he already is.
There.
I mean, Lincoln Riley, in my opinion, is an elite coach, but Deion Sanders is the star of the league.
He's an elite entertainer.
Yeah, I mean, I think
one day be an elite coach. We don't know yet.
Let's just hypothetically say he would have gotten the Mississippi State job. Yeah. Weird fit, but he would have been the star here.
Yeah. Who was it? One of our guests was talking about him maybe going to Texas A&M. You remember that?
It was Barkley.
Yeah, that's right. It was Charles.
Yeah, he
wasn't
said,
it?
"I'm
Yeah.
telling you guys." I love the declaration.
I know.
I got some inside
Yeah.
info.
I mean, had he been the A&M coach or whatever, I mean, this is a big event now. Collegiately, when you consider media days, it's a big event. I'm not going to say he would own this event, but boy, he would
He'd
be
own it.
one of the owners of this event. I mean,
Yeah.
there's some big names that come here, but boy, people would have lined up to see him.
But yeah, the first year he would own it. The
Yeah, I
first
would
time,
agree.
first time through the league, Dion would have been the talk of his day at the SEC.
Wait, don't you put him and Saban together because of the Aflac?
Oh yeah, it would be good.
Yeah, you could do that. You could do that. Have them up there, even do a commercial shoot. But I mean, he would. That's unfortunate, and you hate it for Dion too. I mean, he's had some issues with his foot. It has caused him a lot of trouble. I hope this is maybe the light at the end of the tunnel for him, and maybe he's able to. Maybe he's able to be on the sideline, be in a little bit more comfort than he has been. Yeah.
Usually I would ask Brown this question when LT's tight shot was on, but we're on 3-shot. You think it'd be better if I break right now?
Sure, why not?
And then we could maximize that time?
Yeah, we could do
Okay,
that.
We'll do that. Quick break here right after LT tells us about our friends at Hemp Hill. Then we'll get a break and maximize our time with Commissioner Hemp Hill. Takes care of you with the heating, the cooling, and your plumbing.
Yeah, I want to remind you, Hemp Hill, our friends there, offering 0% for 60 months for qualified customers, plus free 10-year labor warranty. When you mention the next round, call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure that HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train, 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Back to Nashville with Greg Sankey in about 3 minutes. Stay with us.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
The next round is live in Nashville, bringing you SEC Media Days thanks to our friends at MyBookie. Follow along on all of our social media accounts and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a thing. Our Media Days coverage is brought to you by Wayne's Pest Control, Champies, Tommy James Law, and Johnston RV. It's the spring sales event at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham. Now you can get $10,000 off, plus rates as low as 4.7% on new 2022 Alfa Romeo Stelvios and new 2022 Alfa Romeo Giulias. Come see the team at Alfa Romeo of Birmingham, exit 27 just off I-459 on Grants Mill Road, or visit them online at alfaromeousaofbirmingham.com. Hurry down before they're all gone. All incentives applied, in stock units only with approved credit. alfaromeousaofbirmingham.com. The next round is live in Nashville, bringing you SEC Media Days thanks to our friends at MyBookie. Follow along on all of our social media accounts and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a thing. Our Media Days coverage is brought to you by Wayne's Pest Control, Champies, Tommy James Law, and Johnston RV.
Hey, if you're looking for Birmingham's best pizza, you need to stop in and see our friends at Slice Pizza and Brew. It's as local as you can get, from the ingredients that go into every pizza to the beer on tap. For a great lunch or dinner, go see our friends today, Vestavia or Lakeview at Slice. Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
Woodbridge Wine, brought to you by Constellation Brands, proud partners of the Alabama Crimson Tide, bringing you our coverage of SEC Media Days. Woodbridge Wines by Robert Mondavi Wines are fruit-forward, smooth, and made for sharing. Woodbridge offers a wine that doesn't get uptight about wine, so that you can have a wine your way. Visit woodbridgewines.com for delivery, or to find out where you can buy locally. Woodbridge Wines by Robert Mondavi. Please enjoy responsibly.
Did you tweak your shoulder putting up Christmas decorations? Injure your elbow shooting hoops in the backyard? Or hurt your knees getting up from the couch at halftime? Let 2023 be the year precision sports medicine and orthopedics gets your life back on track. Orthopedic care is better together. Find your provider today. Call 205-512-3885. That's 205-512-3885. Or visit precisionsportsortho.com/2023.
We're live in Nashville this week, bringing you SEC Media Days thanks to our friends at MyBookie. Be sure to tune in on our social accounts so you don't miss a thing. Also brought to you by Moore's Marinades and Wing Sauces, Precision Sports Medicine, Michelson Laser Vision, and Woodbridge Wines.
JohnstonRVCenter.com bringing you part of our coverage along with our friends at MyBookie.ag here from Nashville all week long. I've got to start with the commissioner real quick. And I know Brown usually officially introduces this, but I kicked myself back at the Hoover Galleria because there was a time he was on, delayed a little bit by a phone call. We did a whole interview with him. The next day, Texas and Oklahoma was announced. Long phone call before you walked in here. Is there anything I will at least ask, is there anything you need to tell me that we're going to read about tomorrow?
Not from that phone call.
Okay.
Maybe others.
Was that a new granddad phone call?
No, that was one of our university presidents. We'd had not internally, but an external group of communication confusion. So I need to clarify something. And then he congratulated me on the grandfather status.
Do you have a name yet? Are you a Paw?
Greg.
Greg
worked for 58 years.
Yeah,
So when he found out, my wife asked me at breakfast, like the next morning after finding out, what's your grandfather name going to be? And I'm like, what? Like, I look in the mirror and there's still someplace in there, like a 28-year-old behind this gray receding hairline. And so I listened and I thought, and I said, well, Greg, it's worked for 58 years.
Yeah.
She didn't think it was funny. Everybody else just thought it was funny.
I like it.
And then she said, no, seriously, what is it? I said, well, commissioner. That'd be good.
Well,
So you teach the child syllables.
That's right. Hugh Freeze sat in that chair there and said he's coach.
He's going to be coach.
He just became a grandfather. He said he's going to be coach.
Well, the other side, I don't know what this means psychologically. My dad's parents, I always called them by their first name. So my grandparents on my father's side were Gene and Irene. My grandparents on my mother's side were Grandma and Grandpa Strong. So it's not unprecedented in my family to go by first name.
Wow, I've never heard.
Probably not going to get away with that one, but it's nice to talk about on radio where you have vodka.
Yeah.
So hey, and
whatever that thing was.
That was before you were in the SEC, though. Southern, you got to get a Southern grandpa name. Come on.
What are the chances we can mix you a cocktail? It's fresh
Zero.
lime.
Zero.
Is it because you're working?
Among other things.
So
I don't want that video to last. I don't think you should be drinking at 3 in the afternoon, 2 in the afternoon. It's a personal issue, and I don't drink vodka. So what else you?
Oh, and you don't drink vodka. Okay, that's good.
I do use limes and like Perrier. If you got one of those laying around, that's very high.
You know, we are fresh
This
out
is
of
a high tone show.
Although
now.
Scott did look in the cooler there.
I don't think we're on that brand, though. I think
Every
it's a
time I
different
show
brand.
up to interview, there's like 2 more people. So this thing must be working.
Oh, we're
It
killing
is,
it.
yeah.
We're
this
absolutely
thing.
this thing must be working.
I complained you didn't have a table. Now I
Yeah.
can't say it, but
Yeah.
there's a circular table.
All right, here we go. Now look at this.
See, that's what's being influential.
That's right.
Right there. Where's the lime smart?
We got lime pressure
The
squeeze, lime
lime
juice.
Yeah. Okay.
Do I have
We
to
can-
cover up the label?
No.
We can mix you that and lime if you want on ice.
I love. He knows how heavy in advertising we are. He thinks we've got a mineral water sponsor. He's got to cover up the label of Perrier.
I've seen the studio with label. It's like a hockey dashing board. It's like a single A ballpark.
That's right.
outfield
Minor league
wall.
baseball. Yeah.
I was impressed. I saw it set up. I'm like, how do they swipe one of these? So
Late night.
I think I won the pool on how long it would take you to notice that.
You notice we
well, I saw it before I even showed up. I'm like, are we licensing this deal? I get paid by media companies.
Hate to get
you're not going to repo it, are you? We've only got 2 hours left.
I'm out of juice right now. I'm on fumes.
Yeah.
We bumped you from day one.
I
because of
missed
that.
the spinning helmet. Do we not have the spinning
I
helmet?
forgot
anymore?
about
what was that called? Helmet.
Hover helmet.
Hover helmet.
Hover helmet, yeah.
That was an old sponsor for us too.
Yes, let's get serious.
Okay.
Well, before we get serious, so we were talking about SEC Media Days. It's kind of neat to run into people you hadn't seen in a while, and everybody's got their clique, and they go out to dinner with certain people and go out to bars with certain people. Do you have a group that you end up with almost every night, or you just shut it down?
No, I'm like, I showed up here Sunday night. My plane was late, hungry, and I'm like, I'm not staying out till 11 o'clock midnight every night because I go all day. So I'm 0 for 4, but I've been out till 11 o'clock or midnight with different groups. So had dinner with some of our CAA folks on Monday night and then walked back from over here I'm the only commissioner in Division I who's going to walk back at 11 o'clock at night through a construction zone to get to his hotel. Most people have people for that. It was me and Charlie Hussey at midnight. 1.5 miles. I took credit on my Whoop and my Apple Watch. Right? So.
Walking back in your $1,000 shoes, right?
Those are not. Those are not
those. I know, but
I don't have any $1,000 shoes. A couple hundred maybe.
Oh, I know where you shop.
Let me go back to the question you asked. And then Tuesday night, we were supposed to have a concert, and then we had weather. So we're at Tootsie's. Fascinating.
Also, the only college commissioner that's going to be at Tootsie's.
I was at Tootsie's,
Yes.
yeah. And the band, the Midland.
Yeah, Midland.
Played a little private concert. The Utica University now, which is where I began my career, the athletic director was in town just by happenstance and texted me. So he came up and met him. A guy named Steve Babiars. You guys big basketball fans? Potsdam State from the late 80s.
Yeah.
88 game winning streak, 3 national championships, one of the best basketball players I've ever seen. You're not impressed. He was there too.
No, I'm impressed.
And then last night was our ESPN talent dinner.
Oh. Is that like a roast where they get up there like they do the president? They're like, Greg Sankey, this fiscal environment we're in right now, it's all because of you. And then they tell some joke.
They should not be complaining about my contributions because I'm the lifeline. And then I may or may not have been out with a template, one of the early movers in this kind of space that you now occupy.
Dinner must have gone well. I didn't see Heather Dinich tweet anything out about it. So good dinner.
SEC Network, I should say.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so my serious question. Lane Kiffin takes podium and says college football is a disaster. Very hypocritical when you've got a kid on campus with an Aston Martin driving around for somebody to say that, isn't it?
Well, I don't use labels. I think there's a level of frustration that's being expressed. And I told the coaches in Destin a year ago, it's never going to be the way that it was. It's just not. It doesn't have to be the way that it is. We have work to do to achieve that. But I think what you're hearing is I mean, Lane was more candid with his frustration. I think there are inherent strengths in football. Like we're leading the nation in attendance for the 27th straight year, 24th straight year. The ability to play at a high level, the ability to have new levels of support, but there are some oddities that don't seem consistent with the educational academic mission of helping young people grow.
Would you be in favor someday, and maybe it's a representative of the southern part of the country, of one person sort of being the equivalent for major college football like the NFL commissioner is?
Another way to ask that is if the Southeastern Conference is going to cede its decision-making authority fully to some other entity.
Yeah.
I think that's the first question. And I'll take you back to the summer of 20. Do you think we would have wanted to simply say to somebody far off, you decide whether we try to play football or not?
I know how that would have gone.
Oof.
Yeah.
So I think there are a set of complexities before you ever get to the answer of who, which is really what you're asking me.
Right. No, I was going to paint you into a corner. I mean, you obviously would be the choice from my voting district, but I mean, I wouldn't want to lose you from the SEC, but I want you to be the guy making the decision, mainly because of what you did in 2020.
Well, all these commissioners are rookies anyway, right?
It's no, not quite there, but the room has changed.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to visit with Jim Delaney last night, and I was explaining to him, he wraps up in early 2020. Kevin comes in, and then boom, you're hit with a pandemic, and nothing is normal. And since that time, we've cycled through everyone but me. So I'm the commissioner who now is the longest tenured, which is not something I expected. And that's just a very different reality, because I could anticipate. I sat in most of those meetings with Mike, and you knew who was going to have what perspective, what contribution, how they'd compromise. They'd come out hard, strong at the gate, and then back down. And now we're all trying to learn each other again. And then you have, 2 years ago, the news about our expansion. Well, that, causes a chilling effect. And then last year, the Big Ten. You now have the Pac-12 looking for its media opportunities. Meanwhile, the messaging out of the Big 12 around expansion. it's just a little bit different time. But you can go back to the early 2000s. Mike Tranghese works with us as a consultant in the ACC when it first grabbed Big East members. I thought Mike one time, he's shooting daggers.
Well, he did it on
at the
record
AC
too. He
commission.
was behind a mic. Yeah.
And then it happened again after he retired, and so there have been stress points before. There'll be stress points again. I think we've collaborated fairly well. We were able to. I think we're issuing a statement today in support of a continuing effort to seek congressional legislation. So Senators Booker, Blumenthal, and Moran introduced their idea. I'm not sure that's the solution, but it's certainly encouraging that senators with seniority in a bipartisan way who are members of the key Senate committee, Energy and Commerce, are introducing legislation. We have to have something move through the committee process, though.
Commissioner Greg Sankey with us. Our guests are on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline, I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 in Decatur, with new travel trailers as low as $139 a month. That's less than $5 a day. You get 2023 fifth wheels, $439 a month, JohnstonRVCenter.com. I've seen the headline numerous times. Commissioner Sankey says SEC will stop at 16 teams. Is that a fair headline? Because I didn't click on it to read the story. I know.
I never said that.
Well, I've seen that headline this week.
Yeah, well, I saw a headline like I got asked about bowls being populated 1 through 82.
Right.
I said, sure, I'll do that because I know my teams will be in the top.
Yeah, of course you'll
be. Here's the insight.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that means.
Right.
Like, I know 82 is one less than 83.
Right.
We'll stop there. No, I said we're focused on adding 15 and 16, the expansion between next year. I'm not a recruiter, not out there looking for schools. I'm not the one going to a microphone. I did say this to message that we want to grow to this number or we want to go in this direction. I think it would be irresponsible for me to say those things. And I've shared this with colleagues. So I guess that's interpreted as we're stopping at 16. What I then say is I have to pay attention to what's going on around me. And my job is to make this the most attractive possible destination. But we're not in this marketplace like others have been communicating. The Mountain West letters weren't about the Southeastern Conference making phone calls anyplace.
And these are admittedly disconnected.
You know what I mean?
Well, I do. Yes, I do. Yes. These are admittedly random and disconnected questions, but we were asked about this earlier.
Welcome to my life.
I know. And welcome to our show. With the announcement that the conference media days will be in Dallas next year, obviously with Texas and Oklahoma coming into the league makes perfect sense. Could you foresee a situation where the football game moves around?
Not right now.
No.
We attempted to move to Dallas in 2018 with media days,
right?
Recognizing the presence of Arkansas and Texas A&M, and just candidly, I shared it with a colleague out of respect, and then dates got moved on me.
Wow, how about that?
So you learn, you just announce things.
That's right. don't ask for permission, right?
Yeah.
But the football, I mean, you would be dedicated if it did move. Would you be dedicated to dome only? Like, I mean, if ever the college,
this is like. So I answered the question.
You did
not accept the answer.
No, I accept the answer. Fine. You didn't put a definitive end on it. I mean, you guys would not want to play that game outdoors, right?
Well, I'm certain. The art of possibilities at play. You are so far beyond my need to contribute mental capacity to that thought that I've not even considered it.
You choose to keep the dome closed in Atlanta.
I do. That was where I was headed next.
Okay.
I think most people are fans of this city. This construction's a pain in the ass. You guys, I thought, had all the juice in the world, the SEC. Did you not make a call and say, hey, look, we need to shut this down?
It could have been worse, believe me.
Yeah.
So you guys did do something about it.
Yeah. The Tennessee Department of Transportation, they slowed it down. The Hyatt, the Convention and Visitor Corporation, Visit Music City were phenomenal. But once they start, they can't stop. Once you're here, you don't even know it. If they had not been as gracious as they were, you would have known it, I think.
Wow.
So
the Uber drivers hadn't figured it out yet.
Well, yeah, we made a commitment and then learned subsequent, and I was fairly aggressive at, well, we're just going to move and we'll pay whatever penalties. But I thought, we needed to be here. Once you get past it, you can walk down to Broadway to restaurants. But yeah, it's not ideal, but nobody knows it other than you got to divulge it over the air. Everybody else was happy. Now they're all angry.
Yeah. No, I would tell you.
We're warning the bachelorette parties. Don't deliver it.
I would tell you it has been my favorite location so far. And I think I'm one of the senior reporters now who've covered all these SEC.
What year is this
days.
for you?
I don't remember that long ago, but I think this is my favorite location.
But you know, because
it's been really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder of why our basketball works here so well.
Yeah.
You can go in and go out and move. There's hotels. You can.
It's a great SEC town.
I've been here. I don't know how many times I've visited things I never visit because I realize how all-consuming the basketball tournament is.
So I've only been to one tattoo parlor in my life, but on Tuesday it wasn't Redmont vodka; it was bourbon. And
I can't believe you're going to tell him this.
Here it was bourbon.
Yeah, and so
I showed up the wrong day.
You did, yeah.
and
that one.
we had some Dickel 15. It was really good. Buddy of ours brought it by, and Brandon Marcello was sitting there. Well, first it was Shannon Terry from On 3. We poured shots. Then Marcella sat down, and he didn't get up for like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5.
You know, the bottle was empty. At the end of the, but the best thing is Dunaway goes to get a tattoo.
That was his weight loss program.
That's it. It'll do it.
I want to ask. I didn't know.
That guy can
I
drink.
didn't know that was the way it
for
worked.
his size.
Yeah.
Dunaway, on the other hand, can't really drink. Got piss hammered on just a couple of drinks and went to get a tattoo. But the lines,
Seriously?
the lines were so long with bachelorette parties he couldn't get in. Not one, but two places.
I blame it on the Auburn grad behind you, SEC school. Taylor's in charge of our creative content. And she's like, it'd be good for the show.
She's very focused on her creative content.
Yes,
role.
yeah, very creative.
An iPad and a phone. And
Yep.
She's working. So, yeah, I went to
I've
get a
never
tattoo.
been to a tattoo parlor.
Yeah,
I had not either, to be honest with you. And I stood outside this one and saw him get turned away.
twice. Two different
Twice.
ones.
Yeah, by the way, we don't divulge everything, but there was one coach that we did see at this hotel that said they offered Taylor a job.
You almost had her as an SEC employee.
Yep.
But she
Did
chose. Yep. Well, I mean, she was
Did you
offered.
interview with me?
No,
Not with the conference office.
overall conference. Yeah.
What does that mean?
We had to outbid one.
Oh, an institution?
An institution approached.
They saw her great work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we were able to outbid that institution and keep her.
But it did cost us a few dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can cost them more if you want. We're going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
She said, sure.
She's a Birmingham girl. You don't have to pay relocation. She's already there. Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
God, I mean, thank you, man. I'm such a big fan. And now you're coming in and trying to hire her away. You're shutting us
He
down.
looks at this thing. I guess it's working.
You got Barry.
When's the last time you were able to sit on your couch for a full football Saturday and watch games?
Oh, you never do that, do you?
Yeah, no, I've enjoyed like going. So it'll happen week 2 with the Texas game in Alabama. I'll stay home that day. There's just not games that make sense to go someplace else for 2. So I'll get to stay home. I've made it to like 1 or 2 in the afternoon, and I'm like, this is really enjoyable.
Yeah.
I realize why we're so popular. Like
Yeah,
sitting here and watching SEC Nation, flipping to game day during the commercials, coming back to Nation because that's my priority, and then the noon games start.
It's
noon
phenomenal.
Eastern.
It's
You're
phenomenal.
like, wow, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And during COVID, I was in my office and like my stomach hurts all Saturday. You guys don't even know. Saturdays are less fun than you would
So
imagine.
do
for me.
you fly from Birmingham to Tuscaloosa?
No.
Okay.
It does
I
seem
drive.
excessive.
I try to drive regularly, so I drive. I think week 3 LSU's in Starkville, so I'm going to go to another game. So I'll likely ride with someone. The plane will pick me up, and then we'll go someplace else. But I'll drive to Auburn. My predecessor used to fly, and I lived in Brook Highland at the time where Jim tried to run me over when I was running on the road. It was like an hour and 40 minutes.
I've never
When I-
understood people that run on the road when there's sidewalks.
When I drove, well, there are no sidewalks in Brook
well,
Highland.
find sidewalks.
It's nice as the neighborhood as it was. There's no sidewalks. Now I live in Homewood. I have sidewalks. But sidewalks vary more than pavement. Like you catch your toe on.
Oh,
it.
especially in Homewood, old sidewalks.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Oh, I would drive like 30 minutes in, wait 15 minutes. We'd fly down, and I realized I'm like wasting time flying.
Oh,
Right.
going to Auburn? Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll drive. It's Mississippi State's a drive. I drove to Auburn, or excuse me, to Georgia a couple times last year. I like driving.
Did you really leave the 2021 Iron Bowl when I told you the game was over and you missed the overtime Iron Bowl? Were you leaving anyway? Because you remember you walked back on the field, you had gotten called away, and Alabama missed that fourth down conversion. I said, game's over. You can go ahead. And I think he disappeared. And then Bryce Young
I did leave.
Yeah, Bryce Young. Were you leaving anyway, or did I
Yeah,
make
yeah.
you miss the end of the
Yeah,
Iron Bowl?
no.
Okay, because I've
No,
always
I tried
felt
to get
guilty.
ahead.
Yeah, I've always felt guilty about that because it's the only overtime Iron Bowl in history. Very exciting finish.
We've got a couple more questions.
I also left the 7 overtime Texas A&M LSU game from 5 minutes ago.
Did you think it was over?
I did. Then I get to the airport, but my pilots were timing out. I get to the airport. Remember, Kellen Mond goes down, throws an interception.
Oh yeah, and his knee was down.
I get on the airplane.
Yeah.
I look at my phone. I'm like, how does A&M have the football again?
Right.
And then I fly to Birmingham. I land. The game's still going on.
And
it's
that
not a
wasn't
short
over.
flight.
That one game cost us. Now we've got a crap overtime system.
Yeah, they did overreact to that game with the overtime system. I think.
We've got your coffee. Would you like some coffee instead?
Yeah, period.
I'm okay
You're
right
good
now.
right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm showering you with gifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have no problem bringing
You
it
have
up
to
that.
game and end. You have to end the game somehow, some way.
Well, football just
We were fortunate; it was 60 degrees, 65
Yeah.
degrees that night. If that's in the swamp and that plays out, that you'll have a very different overtime system then.
well, football just does not lend itself to overtime. There really is no good system. There isn't. I've never seen
I
one.
feel the same about green, white, checkered in NASCAR.
No, I would agree completely. I mean, that's just created a whole new set of issues.
Trying to take us off that topic.
Yeah. I mean, there's no answer.
I got another one for you. Huey Lewis a couple of weeks ago turned 73. I
know.
threw this question out to them.
It's hard to take.
Yeah.
Last time I saw him play was over here at the
At Bridgestone?
Schimmelhorn, I
Oh.
think it's called, whatever the symphony.
Dunaway really, I'm not a huge Huey Lewis fan like you. Dunaway discounts Huey Lewis, though.
I cannot believe we're
'Cause-
having this conversation.
No, here was the question I asked. Better overall career once they're ultimately done, Huey Lewis or Kurt Warner, former Rams/Cardinals quarterback with the NFL Network?
Huey Lewis.
I thought it was an easy answer. He was an 80s icon.
But see, music is fantastic because people can have varying taste, and
But they can't have daring taste about quarterbacks.
they can. But I love football. I was never a fan. And I admire you for being a fan. I just never.
First time I saw Huey Lewis in the
Liked
news, my wife and I were dating.
Do you know how many times you've seen him?
I could count. It's in the double digits. Was it Wheat Sport Speedway, dirt track speedway with a concert setup? And the last time was at High Tone Nashville Symphony Center.
Yeah.
That's called range.
Does he
right
put on a
there.
good show?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah. I've always enjoyed them.
Do you guys have? Could you guys? Are you guys news directors
I
or
know
anything
of.
like that? No.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Hey,
It's just
since
like going to see their music.
Well, I was going to ask real quick though, Rockstar, didn't we determine he's a top 10 80s act? What was that discussion about?
Well, well, I don't know where Rockstar is.
He'll
but
be-
they
he'll be in
did,
your- he'll be in your
like
headset.
Michael Jackson had the Pepsi deal. Huey
Uh-huh.
Lewis in the News had the Coke offer back in the day.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you
did
read
they?
the trade.
Yeah.
I mean,
What was it?
That's a big deal.
It is.
Yeah.
Kirk Warner never had a Coke deal.
That's true. Rockstar, tell the commissioner
Coca-Cola.
what did we determine, Rockstar, about Huey Lewis?
We were talking about the top Billboard hits, and I think he had more, and I'm trying to think of who made the most money touring in the 80s or something like that. We had a lot of stuff just to prove Dunaway wrong because Dunaway was
Yeah.
on a hill for
But
Kurt
you go
Warner
back
for some
to the
reason.
B-sides too. There's a song like "Walking on a Thin Line." I think that's from the Sports album about the Vietnam veteran, kind of PTSD before we knew the name.
Take
That's
that,
a pretty
Dunaway.
powerful song. You go back to the early days.
I had no idea that was what it was about.
Self-titled. Then there's some funny songs.
Yeah.
So I asked this one the other day.
Good music.
Closer to home. Sylvester Stallone, you're from New York. Sylvester Stallone's birthday, I said, better overall career, Stallone or Saban? And I got killed for asking that question.
Just for asking the question, so nobody had to answer.
Oh,
Well,
well,
no, we answered. We both said Saban.
I just said Stallone is like a global iconic brand.
But as we
when you look
pointed
at
out,
the Rocky
yeah.
franchise, the Rambo franchise,
but movies lend themselves to that.
Yeah, but those are repeats. You know, Knicks had to do it with a different team and
Oh,
different
yeah.
eras and different
Mhm.
campuses.
the Creed franchise. He brought it back out of the grave. I'm not saying this
so
looks
here
great.
it is.
Nick
you
Saban
know,
brought Bama football.
I
to the grave.
enjoy the Rocky movies, Rambo movies, but I haven't seen anything past Rocky 3. I think I saw Rocky 4 and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to see any more of that because 1 was so good, 2 wasn't great, 3 was really good.
I'll tell you, Creed is good. At least the first one was.
4 was just playing off like the Cold War and all that. You didn't get caught up in that, like the American.
I think Rambo was too.
Wait, well,
Without boxing gloves.
Yeah, Stallone made some money off the Cold War, didn't he? He really did.
Everybody needs an enemy. That's when I expand. There you go.
Did you ever?
But I stopped just so we're clear.
Did you ever see Copland with Stallone? It's a great cast. De Niro's in it. Harvey Keitel.
A long time ago.
Yeah, but it's on the other side. So it's in Jersey on the other side of the George Washington Bridge, and it was a town where all the cops lived. And I wonder if there's really something like that.
But I don't know. Thank you for asking.
I will tell you.
I was going to say, like, you think about De Niro and Pacino's careers. They did something different. It wasn't like.
Oh, I know. I just saw De Niro and Dirty Grandpa. Trust me, I know. Awful movie.
I'm not saying they were perfect because Stallone's got some dogs in there too.
Oh, he does.
When you're just doing 1, 2, and 3 over and over, I get it. You're just cashing in, right?
I mean, that's college football up until NIL and transfer portal. It was top heavy. It was just Saban every other year winning the national championship.
Guy finishes 5th and 2nd, and it's all changed.
Oh, his fastball's gone.
You know when you're gonna.
I'm distancing myself from that comment.
You know when you're gonna hire Taylor away from us, when you make it downstairs and she's already got you intermixed with some War Games video and the quote, "Everybody needs an enemy," and the missiles are dropping in Big Ten country, and you're going to be like, "Damn, she's good. I need to hire her."
Just as people excerpt this to circulate on the D1 ticker, this is all lighthearted. It's like this week I've seen things where it shows. Do you know what the D1 ticker is?
I actually
email
I'm
kind of
signed up.
summary.
I get that email.
I look at that with like one eye open and my hand over that eye because I'm like, what did they quote clip now?
Well, this. I am the king, as you from a question earlier, of reading headlines and not actually reading the story. So that email's great for me because I just read the headlines.
I read something that I said on the network that people were angry with me about the expansion, and they started naming names of people who were angry at me. Like, no, you completely missed, and it was in an article. I completely missed what I was observing. It was a big picture anchor.
You've got another spot to be. We always appreciate the time.
I did want to ask you if SEC's ever going to utilize AI.
We actually have an initiative through our academic smarty pants. Our academic initiative with campuses first write a common curriculum for faculty members to figure out how to sort through the use of AI. We've had one video conference, kind of a seminar, and some other plans about how we intersect with our campuses, and then we're going to have to think about what it means for our function as well.
Fantastic answer.
Didn't see that coming.
Expect that. Yeah,
Greg,
did not expect that.
Go ahead. It will not be rude.
What happened to all the rapid fire stuff? Movies, no pizza. Or
Hey,
hot
when you go to
dogs?
Chick-fil-A, do you do spicy chicken or regular?
Regular.
Yeah. Let's see. There's rapid fire.
Better side from Chick-fil-A, the old coleslaw or mac and cheese?
The old coleslaw. I haven't had the mac and cheese.
Polynesian or Chick-fil-A sauce?
No sauce.
It would be the buffalo sauce they have.
That is good.
It's actually quite tasty. I thought you were going to ask me about like a Disney hotel, Polynesian Resort.
All right.
Thank you for the time.
Thank you. We keep you all day.
We keep you all day.
That was it was always like 2 segments on this deal.
Well, we
already burned 2
I
segments.
mean, if you
Here's
can,
my phone call.
I'll make you a drink and I'll
What time
light up
is
a
it?
segment. It's only 3 o'clock.
Oh no, I got to go to Feinbaum.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's got a microphone. He can say bad things.
Okay.
He will.
Do you need to borrow our headset? Are you good? Okay.
Okay,
Well, we're good. Hey, 5 o'clock. We're here live. If you want to come back.
Do I have to leave the Perrier?
No, take it with you.
Next
It's our
guest?
party gift.
I don't know what budget we are. You're swiping.
No, we've got we've got extra. You'd be surprised at what they've charged us for this room.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
As Commissioner Greg, thank you for the SEC. Part of the show today being brought to you by our friends at Odie's. Nobody better than Greg Sankey there. Nobody better for trivia than Odie's.
Hey, Rocky, guest star last night was?
That would be Miss Lee Haver, Will Haver's wife. We had a good time. We had some interesting. There's a common news story that's going on in local Birmingham. I don't know if you guys have heard about it.
I
where
bet
we-
you'll have some
No,
good
was
names.
Orly all
Oh
over
my
the place?
gosh.
We had a couple team names that had a running theme, so that was fun, and it was a good night.
Give us one good team name.
Oh, whoa. let me look down awkwardly.
Somebody, the team winner was something about my toddler does a 600-yard dash. Sign me up for Alabama or something like that. Something football related. We had a bunch of those. Carly's Cheez-Its. We had a lot.
My toddler does a 600-yard dash better than anybody.
Yeah, that was good.
That's a good line.
He does it barefoot.
Odie's Tavern, every Wednesday, Odie's Team Trivia. Part of the fun is the team names. Of course, Rockstar playing the live music. They'll have live music tomorrow night, Saturday night. Great place to get incredible food from Rodney Davis over the last 3 decades. Great burgers, wings, sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of Bud Light. Get in, go see Will Haver and that great staff. It's a Birmingham institution, Odie's Tavern, Crestline Village.
The next time we have a guest on where you've disagreed or said something bad about him, I'm going to bring it up because you threw me under the bus with the commissioner.
Has he done that with Andy Staples? Andy's next.
Have I said something?
No, him.
I've never said anything bad about Andy.
I said, has he? You're saying if he's done that, you're going to roll him under the bus.
This wasn't any. I didn't say anything that you said negative about him.
I mean, he loves his wife, his daughter, his grandbabies, and then the conference, maybe Huey Lewis after that. I mean, it's pretty close. And you said Jim thinks they suck. It's basically what you said.
I said you thought Kurt Warner had the better career.
Basically, that's MyBookie.ag bringing us the entire coverage from Nashville.
Code next round at MyBookie.ag. Code next round, and you can get that sign-on bonus up to $1,000 when you sign up at MyBookie.ag with code next round. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag. Code next round.
Follow John Lunsford on Twitter at JLuntz.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
For more than 40 years, Red Wing Shoes has been helping the hardworking people of Alabama. This is why Red Wing Shoes has created the 3-step comfort solution. Step 1, a certified fit specialist will use a 3D scan to electronically measure your feet and arches. Step 2, the fit specialist helps you get the appropriate footwear for your occupation. Step 3, customize your boot or shoe with a Red Wing orthotic. Whether you have a high arch or flat feet, Red Wing has comfort solutions for you. So experience comfort at its best. Visit one of the Red Wing shoe stores located in Pelham or Trussville.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round. You've heard me for years talk about our friends at Bromberg's Jewelers, and we welcome you to stop by and see that great customer service at the Mountain Brook and Summit locations. But we'd also love for you to check out their new online shop. They've got plenty to choose from. Great gifts, big and small. Available online, they've got David Yurman, Tudor watches, select diamond and gemstone jewelry, William Henry, seasonal and favorite giftware items and baby gifts as well. They've even got an online sale section. For more information, Brombergs.com.
When choosing a lawyer, the most important factors are trust, experience, and results. Tommy James of the Tommy James Law Firm checks all these boxes. With more than 25 years of experience, he will take care of your legal needs. Anything from car accidents to wrongful death cases, Tommy has done it all. Case evaluations are free, so if you're looking for a lawyer to handle any type of personal injury case, call him at 205-259-1725 or check out TommyJamesLaw.com. Call today or email Tommy at TommyJamesLaw.com.
No representation is made. The quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
If you've listened to us on the next round for any amount of time, you know I love grilling. Ryan Brown here. I'm going to let you in on my secret. Moore's marinades and sauces. They can be the secret sauce for your grilling and backyard barbecues. I love it on burgers, chicken, steak, pork, and even on my veggies. And one thing I really love, less sodium and a great hickory flavor you can taste in every bite. Also, don't sleep on that buffalo wing sauce from Moore's Marinade. See why grill masters everywhere prefer Moore's Marinade and wing sauce. Get recipe ideas and grilling inspiration at mooresmarinades.com.
Man, I love a good meal. I'm Jim Dunaway. A good meal is what you get with my friend Sterling at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster. We're talking great southern fried chicken, wonderful sides, hand-cut chicken fingers, po' boys, and those Mississippi Delta recipe tamales. You got a perfect menu for everybody. Champy's Chicken is perfect for watching the big game or taking a meal to the lake house, down to the coast, or stay in the restaurant and dine in a great atmosphere. It's all made fresh to order right there on 119 in Alabaster, Champy's Chicken.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round. presented by Bud Light, is on now.
We can figure out something.
Hey, another hour here on the next round as we roll on. What are we, 37 days away? Presented by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Thanks so much for them. And everything from Nashville by mybookie.ag. Jim Dunaway, Ryan Brown, Lance Taylor, Andy Staples with us in just a second. Right after I tell you about our friends at Way to Wellness. Leslie and her board-certified team can help jumpstart your weight loss. More importantly, if you're getting older, your blood pressure numbers, cholesterol numbers are getting out of whack, they can help you there too. Aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. It is Way to Wellness, your journey to healthy living.
Andy's home now is On3 Sports, one of the great hires that our buddy Shannon Terry has made there at On3 Sports. So that's where you get all of his stuff. He is with us now. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm glad you had my boss first. That's good. I feel like I'm now I'm coming in the right spot here.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
ask him about the shot of Dickel he took, because he said off the air after we poured the shot, he was like, that was a heavy pour, which it was like a double. I didn't mean to do it because it was in a solo cup and I couldn't balance it out. And he was like, once it was on the air, I had to do the entire shot.
So the solo cups, I had no idea the lines are actually measurements. Did you guys know this?
Did not know that.
I know that.
Yes, they all are various measurements.
So what is that first line?
That would be your shot line.
No, it's not. Oh,
yeah,
hell.
you're 1.5 ounces.
Oh, we went 4 over that.
Guys, you're from Alabama. Didn't they have a law that you could only do a 1.5 ounce pour?
Supposedly.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, I'm in Florida. We're all for heavy pours in Florida. So.
Oh, I had that. Damn, that's not much.
Exactly.
I'm about to make you some really good red mount cocktails.
Listen, but I appreciate it. That's the reason I come on this show so often, because nobody else is giving out drinks.
Well,
I mean, come on. Who's serving drinks when you get on their show?
Got to be known for something, right?
Do you want it neat? You want it over ice, or do you want a little fresh lime?
Well,
Still fresh lime?
Yeah, there's enough fresh lime.
Right here. We got it right here.
Oh, we got lime. Listen, this is the most equipped show I've ever seen.
Yep.
You should always have fresh lime juice at all times.
Well,
I mean,
this
is
is
just
bartender Neil, and I said, look, we've got a red mount vodka up top. I said, can you give me a good mixer? He goes, I'm going to get you some fresh lime juice and simple syrup.
Yep.
Put this together. Just pour it over ice. It's delicious, and it is delicious.
Now, don't miss the fact that we have been here not even 4 full days yet, and Lance knows the bartender by name. Don't miss the fact of that story.
I'm not surprised. Listen, these coaches, for the most part, till Lane Kiffin showed up, have been so boring that it does drive you to drink. So Lane Kiffin did liven the festivities today.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he really did, didn't he? And we were talking about the fact that he's kind of, since the end of the season, been a little bit under the radar, hasn't he?
Yeah, and now it's interesting because I was thinking, as I'm laughing, listening to him say how he's not going to rank the SEC booster bases.
Right.
He's taking a page out of the playbook of the late Mike Leach, where he's being very interesting, but not telling us a damn thing about his team.
That's true. I'll talk a lot, but not about my team.
Exactly.
Because of the way it ended last year.
Yes.
I mean, there's a reason why you want to shake the keys over here.
He did mention that, though. I thought that was very interesting. He came right out of the gate talking about that, saying, hey, I didn't keep the team together as well as I should have last year. I thought he telegraphed what was going to happen last year while it was happening, though. You know, you go to the first half of their Vandy game, they were riding high. That's a team they should have beaten pretty handily. It took them a while to get going in that game, and they could tell you that their schedule was really bottom heavy. The back end of that schedule was brutal.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't surprising that it worked out the way it did.
If he did do that list, who do you think the top 5 is of the power booster basis?
Okay, so here's the thing: coaches, ADs, they're going to have different metrics for what makes a booster base good. The ideal, if you're a coach, is a booster base that will flood you with money and leave you the hell alone.
That is right. Yes.
I'm not sure
I don't know if
such
that
a thing
exists.
actually exists, because
they used to be a big problem at Alabama.
Right.
It was a problem.
Right, because Florida won't meddle. Like some of their bigger boosters are generally big fans that just want to see the team do well, don't feel like they have to be the general manager or anything, but they don't have as many of those people who are just willing to write massive checks.
Yeah.
Alabama, you mentioned, tend to meddle. I mean, Auburn.
Oh yeah, they've had a history of that.
Just a skosh. Texas A&M, not as bad now.
Yeah.
But when things start to go wrong, that's when they start to develop factions. So I mean, LSU seems to be the one where they're the most willing to give and just want you to win, just go win for us. That feels like the most, but obviously the politics in Louisiana are different than the politics everywhere else.
But you're never going to get the late T. Boone Pickens, who basically underwrote
A sugar
Oklahoma.
daddy.
Yeah, but I mean, you're not going to get a guy that gives that much money and not want to have some meddling.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, why not?
Yeah, and he and Gundy, I mean, they butted heads a lot.
They
not?
did.
Yeah.
They did. And, you know, I do think if somebody does that, you have to be willing to accept. If you're accepting the gift, you have to accept the advice.
Yeah.
And Phil Knight, same thing at Oregon.
Right.
He wanted input and wanted his opinions known. And
he wore a headset, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the thing. I don't know that the coach's ideal booster actually exists. I'm guessing if I were a coach, if I had to rank them, I'd put LSU number 1, just because they seem less meddlesome, but as willing to give. Tennessee, they're very willing to give, but for the longest time, you had a couple of factions led by their kind of 2 biggest donors who were just at odds on almost everything. And that's kind of why they were the way they were for a while. That seems to have finally been smoothed out.
Alabama, Georgia, LSU, Tennessee, their fan bases all love their coach. I'm not going to use approval rating because Dunaway's already called me out.
Okay
I've
on
used
the
it 3 times.
Yeah.
But of the other 10 fan bases right now, how many are just kind of in the middle, unknown? Billy Napier feels like an unknown.
He's very much an unknown. I think the Florida fans who follow recruiting are starting to warm to him. I think the ones who just watch the games, they're out on him right now. They're going to need to see improvement. But the ones who follow the recruiting are starting to say, "Ooh, he's beating out teams that Florida wasn't beating out for players."
Well, that's what Doring said. Doring sat right there and said, look, they got to be patient with this guy. If they're not patient with him, we got a problem.
Well, it doesn't really matter how patient the fans are. Jimmy Sexton did a good job for his client with that contract because Florida doesn't pay giant buyouts. They would owe him something like $31 million if they fired him after this season. They're not paying.
Hey, what's the biggest buyout ever? Didn't somebody?
No, this was a buyout for a team to pay another school for a coach. That's the misconception, Andy, is that teams.
Gus's is still the biggest we've seen
from
when he got fired at Auburn.
Yeah.
And Jimbo's would be the biggest.
Oh yeah.
If that happens. Now they might do it. They have that much cash and they're that impulsive.
I agree with you.
Florida would never pay that amount for Billy Napier to be fired.
But I've made the point too, Andy. Andy Staples with us from On 3. I've made the point too. There is a factor in the Texas A&M job with Texas coming to the conference. I mean, that is a massive motivating factor for Texas A&M.
100%. And they want to see improvement. They want to see that roster play like that roster should.
That's right.
Play like its recruiting rankings say it should. And I'll be curious to see if that happens. You know, it's interesting. You look at who they lost from that class of 2022, that number 1 ranked class, the ones who've transferred. And they lost one guy to USC named Anthony Lucas. I think he's going to do pretty well at USC. He wasn't really an issue. He got to play last year. He contributed. But I think some of the issues that were surrounding the team caused his family to say, you know, you probably might do better somewhere else. But the guys who were problems, who got either kicked off the team or disciplined and have gone somewhere else. Smoke Bowie went to Georgia. He's already off the team. Chris Marshall went to Ole Miss. He's already off the team. Denver Harris, who went to LSU, is the only one left still on his new team. That suggests to me that maybe some of the locker room stuff, the chemistry stuff, maybe they fixed it.
Yeah, maybe so.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be curious because if they did, they got some really freaking good players on that team.
Yeah, I think they're going to be sneaky good this year. And you know what's sad about that is you're paying a coach a shit ton of money, and TCU just played for the national championship. And if I'm an A&M fan coming out for 5-7 when he's in year 4, and now people are talking about maybe they're sneaky good, they should be damn good right now.
Oh, I know, and that's the problem. That's where they get frustrated. Now the thing about it is A&M has been like that forever. That has been A&M's problem forever. I mean, they go get Jackie Sherrill from Pitt. Jackie Sherrill had been killing people at Pitt. He gets to A&M and they're just mediocre. And
R.C. Slocum was a good coach.
R.C. Slocum did a good job there. But Kevin Sumlin had a great first year in the SEC, and that was actually his first year as the head coach there.
Franconi was a disaster.
Right. But they just they can't ever get over the hump. And it doesn't make any sense. They have money. They have the location. Now they have the league. They still can't get over the hump.
I'm interested in Shane Beamer, who was here today. I mean, those marquee wins at the year maybe changes some expectations. What's next for them? What can they do next?
They need to be more consistent. I mean, there's a 2-week stretch of last season that tells you all you need to know right now. They looked as bad as you can possibly look when they went to Gainesville, got annihilated, and then turned around and crushed Tennessee. It made no sense.
It really didn't.
It made absolutely no sense. And then they went and beat Clemson. So what were they not doing the week of the Florida game that they did the week of the Tennessee game and the week of the Clemson game? How do you bottle that and do it every week? And I think that's one of the hardest things to do. I always tell people Nick Saban's superpower is getting a bunch of 18 to 22-year-olds to behave in a consistent fashion day after day after day after day, because that's a really hard thing to do. And that's what I think Shane Beamer's trying to do. I look at the way he's recruiting. He's making Clemson work in state for the first time in years. He's going and getting 5-star guys like Nicholas Harbor, who I think I can't wait to see this guy play. For those who don't know who this guy is, he's from the Washington, D.C. area. He's 6'5", 235. Legitimate Team USA track aspirations. Like, could be running the 200 meters in the Olympics at some point.
So this is a DK Metcalf.
If you put him in a 3D printer and pressed 130% size.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
He's that much bigger than DK Metcalf?
It's DK Metcalf if he was Megatron size.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So now, originally he was a defensive end tight end in high school. They recruited him as a defensive end, and so did most of the other schools. And that it evolved as he was getting recruited, and a lot of schools then said, well, maybe tight end. South Carolina eventually landed on receiver, because part of the reason they don't want to bang him up, because he does have real track aspirations. So they want to make sure that he's healthy enough that if he has the opportunity to make an Olympic team, that sort of thing, he can do it. So like, I am fascinated to see, like, what does a corner do if that dude catches a bubble screen against you? You just hang on for dear life.
Yeah,
like, but what if he breaks free? He's fast. He's the fastest player on the field.
Nobody's closing from the other hash mark to cut him off. Yeah.
Now we don't know how he does when he gets hit. Obviously, now I will say he played in a pretty good high school area, so he played good competition in high school. So it's not like he's just running over little kids that were tiny. He's played against some dudes, so that leads me to believe that maybe he makes a fairly quick impact.
By the way, the 200 meter in the Olympics would be a lot more exciting if the guy in lane 8 could come and hit the guy in lane 1.
It'd be tremendous.
Full contact.
Full contact.
Well, that's what
200 meters.
You know, we always talk about the track guys, and usually they don't work out as well as football players. Right. But you know, sometimes they do. Like Texas A&M, Devon A. Chain, legitimate track speed, but that dude was a football player. Like he was great he was small, but he'd run between the tackles and had great instincts with the ball in his hand. Like he's gonna be really good for the Dolphins too. But now imagine he was 6'5", 235. If this dude has any football instincts at all, holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, the first one I remember was Willie Gault. I remember Willie Gault had legit U.S.
Well, and
Olympic
those Silver Raiders pants made him look even faster.
Yeah.
When he played for them.
But you had like flameouts like Ron Brown, Ronaldo Nehemiah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were track guys that, as you said, the dude for Oregon was okay, and he's still running.
Mm-hmm.
LSU
had one who was from Florida, Pee Wee Carter.
Yeah,
who was really fast, but it never quite worked out for track or football for him.
So Beamer overachieved the last couple of years for sure. Is there a chance they're going to be if Spencer Rattler, and this is a huge if, but if he plays like he did against Tennessee, that's the Spencer Rattler everybody thought they were going to get at Oklahoma. If he is consistent this year, is this one of those teams week in, week out can beat anybody?
Yes, and the other team in the East that may be like that is Kentucky.
With Leary.
Yeah, because remember Devin Leary at NC State in 2021? He was fantastic. This time last year, they're doing a Heisman campaign for him.
Oh, I thought they were going to be the college football playoff based on the Leary I saw in 21.
Oh, he looked great, and he gets hurt, and it just doesn't work out. So he goes to Kentucky. They bring Liam Cohen back as the OC. I'm excited to see them. They do need to fix that offensive line. It wasn't good last year. It had been their strength for quite a while now. They lost their offensive line coach to cancer a couple of years ago.
And then his replacement at Alabama too.
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly. So that's part of the issue is can they get better on the offensive line? But if they can, shoot, I think Kentucky could be another one of those teams that there's no automatic win against them.
Yeah, this might be really the most difficult year in the SEC when you think about it, because I think A&M is going to be really good.
Yep.
Alabama's Alabama. LSU is going to be really good. Georgia's Georgia.
Well,
Tennessee is going to be better
I
than
look
most people
look
think.
at the West, and you have Alabama and LSU. So those other 5, A&M, Auburn, Arkansas, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, I look at them as kind of in the same bucket. Like the games that they play against one another are all coin flips. A&M has the best roster of any of those. A&M has the best chance to separate of those. But until they prove they can beat the teams they're supposed to beat, I'm going to put them in that same bucket. Meanwhile, you got Hugh Freeze coming in at Auburn. Remember his first year at Ole Miss? He was already scaring people with what he inherited from Houston Nutt, which wasn't much, and there was no transfer portal to go beef it up.
He wins everywhere he goes.
He wins everywhere he goes, and he had a chance to go get more players. Probably not exactly what he wanted, but a lot better than the situation he would have inherited had there been no rule where you can just go get players.
What's the East look like? Do they even have a bucket?
There's
Georgia?
One big bucket.
There's Georgia. And the assumption is that it's Georgia here, and then Tennessee is a notch below, and then everybody else is a notch below that. I'm not sure about that yet. I need to see that from Tennessee. Like, they play Florida week 3. I need to see them go to Gainesville and win that game.
They had done in 20 years.
Exactly. You think back to 2021, that was the Florida team that got Dan Mullen fired. They handled Tennessee. That was Hendon Hooker's first start. And I was looking back at that game yesterday. I was like, man, I have memory hold that game because Florida got real bad real fast, and Tennessee started to take off after that. So it feels like those programs went in different directions, but listen, we don't know. But Tennessee lost Darnell Wright, who was a first-round offensive tackle. They lost Byron Young. Line of scrimmage, can Tennessee hold up as well as they did? That stuff matters. Even if Joe Milton is what we think he might be at quarterback, you still have to be able to win in the trenches. And that's one thing Tennessee did really well last year. They ran the ball against almost everybody. Georgia was the one they couldn't solve on that front, but they were pretty good at hitting you up front on offense. And I just don't know. Maybe they will, but I don't know that. I need to see that they can replace some of those guys they lost.
I feel like Napier and Saban are basically trying to do the same thing this year. Simplify quarterback, run the ball, and be physical.
Exactly. And Alabama is an interesting one because they were so spoiled with the quality of receivers they had and the quality of the quarterbacks that they had, that they became a pretty pass-happy team. And I don't know it was a case of anybody forgot how to do anything. Maybe they just didn't have the offensive linemen that they'd had in the past. But I don't know that they could just maul you on first down or just decide, okay, we're going to run the ball down your throat. It didn't look like they could do that against the better teams they played last year. If they could get back to that, whoever wins the quarterback job, it's going to be so much easier. And you mentioned Napier. I talked to him about this just yesterday. They've got a couple really good backs in Montrell Johnson and Travis Etienne, Trevor Etienne, sorry, the younger brother. And that might help Graham Mertz in the play action game.
Right.
Because, if they are scared of you gaining 5-6 yards every time you touch the ball, those linebackers and those safeties are going to take that step in. You're going to have a chance to get somebody open. And I think that's what they're hoping for. But if Alabama can do that, and especially with the backs they have, I'm so excited to see Justice Haynes.
Yes.
That kid looks good.
He looks amazing. And, the poor Tennessee fans, if Justice Haynes runs all over them, like his dad killing them for Georgia in 2001, and then his son goes to Alabama and beats them, that would be just painful.
Oh, it would. It would. All right, he is Andy Staples. On 3 is where you find all of his work. On 3 Sports. We have got a great parting gift for Andy.
Woo,
Yeah,
love it.
Red
Bottle
Bottle
of
vodka.
Red Bot, yep.
Charles Barkley. It's his vodka, locally owned, operated.
Very
8
nice.
times distilled, gluten
Thank
free.
you so much.
And I'm going to make you a cocktail. Taylor was nice enough to run downstairs.
Holy cow.
See our bartender down there. Got us some fresh lime and simple syrup. Ice.
Yep.
A lot of fun. Also brought to you by our friends at Simpio. Andy, as you say goodbye, we appreciate you so much. Good luck with the new show. We were talking about it with Shannon Terry early this week. Launching this week has been fantastic. Continued success. I think he said, if you never write, he said this on the air, right? If you never write another word, I hope he said this.
He did, but it was
he definitely has said this to me. So
he said, you're going to love this guy. His on-air presence is second to none. So I said, we've had him on many times. We've seen it already. So good luck. I know you're excited.
Wait till I've had some of this.
Scipio helped us get started. They handle HR and everything for us.
They do, Dunaway. They're going to take care of the 4 pillars out there. They take care of HR, payroll, benefits, compliance. When your company joins Simpio, you gain access to healthcare and employer benefits at prices only large organizations get. On average, Simpio is saving all companies and industries over 18% net of their fees. You can join Simpio any time of year, no annual contract. Call Blake and the guys today, 205-635-7467 or Simpio.com.
Back in a moment to Nashville.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
When choosing a lawyer, the most important factors are trust, experience, and results. Tommy James of the Tommy James Law Firm checks all these boxes. With more than 25 years of experience, he will take care of your legal needs. Anything from car accidents to wrongful death cases, Tommy has done it all. Case evaluations are free, so if you're looking for a lawyer to handle any type of personal injury case, call him at 205-259-1725 or check out TommyJamesLaw.com. Call today or email Tommy at TommyJamesLaw.com.
No representations made. The quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Did you tweak your shoulder putting up Christmas decorations? Injure your elbow shooting hoops in the backyard? Or hurt your knees getting up from the couch at halftime? Let 2023 be the year precision sports medicine and orthopedics gets your life back on track. Orthopedic care is better together. Find your provider today. Call 205-512-3885. That's 205-512-3885. Or visit precisionsportsortho.com/2023.
MyBookie.ag brings you our coverage of SEC Media Days 2023 live from Nashville. We'll be bringing you in-depth interviews with players, coaches, media members, and more, plus our live show every single day at a special time each afternoon. Be sure to follow us on all social media at Next Round Live so you don't miss a thing. SEC Media Days 2023 from Nashville, also brought to you by Moore's Marinades and Wing Sauces, Precision Sports Medicine, Michelson Laser Vision, and Woodbridge Wines.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you, 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
The Next Round is live in Nashville, bringing you SEC Media Days thanks to our friends at MyBookie. Follow along on all of our social media accounts and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a thing. Our Media Days coverage is brought to you by Wayne's Pest Control, Champies, Tommy James Law, and Johnston RV.
Back to Nashville. A great few minutes with Andy Staples and Greg Sankey back-to-back. Being brought to you from one of our title sponsors up here this week, our friends at Precision Sports. Everything by MyBookie.ag. They headline the show, but Precision gets you back in the game, LT.
They do, Dunaway. Our friends at Precision Sports Medicine. They want you to find your orthopedic provider today. I don't have the copy, man. You're just going to have to I did not get a heads up, and that's one of those I got to pull in the email.
Oh, that's all. It's on me.
Yep.
We'll bring precision back up in a second. Let's see. How about Tough Dog, Brandon? Can you give me Tough
Jimmy,
Dog?
can I ever give you Tough Dog? Tough Dog coatings.
I mean, Commissioner Dunaway says he hates Huey Lewis.
You're just rolling Dunaway under the bus today. He wants you to know.
How can I do the commercial if I don't have it?
Tough Dog coatings. Tyler actually normally needs a heads up for this one, but I'll go ahead and do it. Jim. Tough Dog Coatings is they are the people that redid my garage floor. Now, perhaps you've been in like one of those high-end auto dealerships, garages, something like that, and they've got that floor coating, and you're like, well, that's probably only for commercial businesses. Oh, no. It's residential, my friend, and it is in my garage now. Tough Dog Coatings came out to my house. They checked the cracks in the garage floor, making sure it's not foundational, it's just superficial. Then they test the moisture, make sure you don't have a moisture issue. Then they put down their product. They don't want it to fail, so they make sure all those other things are in line. They back it with a 15-year warranty. And I'm telling you what, man, my garage feels better under my feet than it ever has. It's easier to clean than it's ever been. It actually smells better, which is crazy to say, but it is absolutely true. It does smell better. This looks amazing. It will not crack and wear out like epoxy. It will not yellow in the sunlight. It exceeds OSHA ratings for anti-slip. You can call Tough Dog Coatings at 205-947-3639. Jared and the team do an amazing job. They are Birmingham people. 205-947-3639 or toughdoggaragebfloors.com. That is TUFF, toughdoggaragebfloors.com.
Just so I know how much of a warning I need to give you. You even pulled it up yet? Do you have it yet? Not yet.
I think it might have got deleted.
So I need to.
I've got it. I've got it.
Okay.
I got it.
So a couple of days in advance, I should let you know which segment it's.
Dickhead, if you just would have told me and break instead of mixing a cocktail.
I'm sorry. I wasn't mixing.
No, I said I had to mix it.
I know you get a little busy. I don't know during some of these commercial breaks, and you're not around for me to tell. But we usually work through it. It's all good and dandy. It's all fine.
No, all good. It's just I've got new copy, and that was the problem.
I understand. I understand when people play the next round game at home, I'm the thimble. Nobody wants to be the thimble in the Monopoly game. I'm the thimble. Nobody wants to be me. They all want to be you. What's the most popular Monopoly?
The race car.
The race car. Use a race car.
I didn't know.
Brown's the dog.
No. I don't think the dog is second. Rockstar, perhaps we could put together a list. Rockstar, are you familiar with the Monopoly pieces?
Fun fact about me, I have never in my life once played Monopoly.
That's impossible.
Never played
Never.
Monopoly?
Never in my life.
Okay, here's my Monopoly piece power rankings are race car number 1, top hat number 2, dog number 3, thimble number 4.
There's more than 4, but I see what you're saying.
Well, what are the other ones?
If we were doing a poll, the thimble's always last.
Oh, thimble's the worst.
Nobody wants to be a thimble.
Nobody wants to be a thimble, but definitely race car number 1, top hat number 2.
Yeah. So
research reveals the popular token is the car chosen by 1 in 4 Monopoly players.
That's right. 25% want to be the car.
Yep. Nobody wants to be
and
the thimble.
I think top hat is number 2 universally. Dog number 3.
Yeah.
Thimble dead last.
Yeah,
no
I mean,
doubt.
it could be a T-shirt, Lunsford. I'm the thimble, and that could be a T-shirt I wear.
Tom is right. There's an iron. The iron is still in front of the thimble, but the iron is next to last.
Listen to this. They've done research on this, which each piece means for your personality.
Oh, let's do this. Dunaway's the thimble. Please tell me it's passive.
Okay, first of all,
no, it's
passive aggressive, overly emotional, easy to get his feelings hurt.
Is there a battleship?
That may be new
yeah.
school.
They said
Is
yeah.
there one? There
It
is.
says battleships players who choose this token tend to be more cutthroat than other players. The boot people who choose this token,
I forgot about the boot.
tend to be discriminating.
Wow. Settle down there, Grandpa.
Car, the most popular token, preferred 1 out of 4. People who choose it tend to be outgoing, friendly, versatile, and adaptable.
Okay.
The hat is tied for the second most
See?
popular, chosen by 1 in 5.
Told
Hat
you.
players tend to be introverted in real life, but the game is a great escape for them. The iron, evenly played by both males and females. 1 out of 20 prefer this token. Iron players are pluggers. They persist against long odds and often prevail.
You think any man's ever said that's the only time she's ever used that iron?
You are gonna love this.
It's a thimble.
Yeah.
That
was very boot of you, by the way.
First, the Scotty dog, preferred by 1 out of 5 Monopoly
Yep.
players, tied for the second most popular token. They tend to be more female than male. They consider themselves trustworthy, loyal, and keen to play. And finally,
I can't stand the dog because it never stands up. It's always
No, you're right. It does fall very
drives me
easily.
crazy.
Yep. All right. Give us the thimble. This is Dunaway.
the thimble. mainly played by females. It is the second least popular game token. People who choose the thimble are considered practical, sensitive.
Yep.
They say thimbles used in early versions of Monopoly had the inscription, quote, for a good girl.
Listen, I didn't say I was the thimble. I said I get treated like the thimble by you.
I think it describes it perfectly.
Yeah.
It goes on to say it was a rite of passage for little girls when they became old enough and sat at the feet of their mother, remembering their moms playing Monopoly, that they wanted to be the thimble one day.
I'll wear it. I'll wear that. I'll wear it.
Jimmy Thimble.
It's not the least popular. The wheelbarrow is the.
I forgot about the wheelbarrow.
Only 3% of Monopoly players use
it. Wants a wheelbarrow.
Yeah, it seems like that always falls over too.
It does. You're right.
That out of context ranking today about Monopoly brought to you by the wonderful folks of Precision Sports. They'll get you back in the game.
Hey, for orthopedic care in Birmingham, remember the number 205-512-3885. Orthopedic care. Precision Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, their providers believe these two words are better together when caring for joints, bones, muscles, sports, or weekend warrior injuries. You can make an appointment with Precision Sports Provider today. Call 205-512-3885 or visit precisionsportsortho.com/2023.
Okay, if we answered a question at SEC Media Days last year, gets it re-asked again this year, and they answered the same way, are we going to have to ask it and get it answered the same way again next year when Texas is officially in the league? The head of SEC officiating was up this week, and he was asked, will you penalize horns down? And he said, all penalties for unsportsmanlike conduct deal with taunting, right? So if you do a horns down in the front of a Texas person's face, a player's face, that is taunting.
I'm okay with that.
And you will
that
get
is clearly
flagged.
taunting.
Okay, but if you're going in the end zone and you're doing, is that considered?
Well,
You're not supposed to be in the end zone yet, right? And you got to be in the end zone before you do any celebration. So they could throw a flag and mark it at the spot right there. I mean, that could be the same way if I'm high stepping or anything else. But if you gesture horns down to a teammate or to the crowd, he did not think that would rise up to the level of being a penalty, like they have done in the Big 12 when they bend over backwards.
When Texas ran the league.
That's right.
You can't let Texas run the league. You can't set this precedent. I'm okay with it. Like if Lance is a Texas player and I do that,
that's taunting.
That's taunting.
But that would be taunting if I got your face and went.
Yeah, or if I just wave at anything like
or
that.
Or Ross from Friends, and I did that.
Taunting. That's right.
I'm
that is absolutely. It is absolutely taunting.
Right.
And I'm fine with that. But to Lance's point, if I do it to the crowd or if I do it to my teammate, it should not be a penalty just because it's horns down.
Right. Yeah, it was Brad Wing, the punter. It was a great play call against Florida, and they went on to blow him out, so it didn't matter anyway. But was he not running in with like hand up, and they called it back?
I think he high stepped or something, didn't he?
He's a punter. I don't think he could high step.
Oh no, it was out of.
But he had gotten around the corner. I do think he threw up the number one, or
it was
maybe
something like that,
or something.
Yeah. But it got called back. And can you imagine if that was a big game?
Yeah, well, it was a big game. They're playing Florida.
Well, I mean, they ended up whipping their ass. I'm just saying,
game,
if it would have been a close game.
And I think that was the first time that flag had been thrown.
Yeah, it was.
Right? That was the first time.
That took the points off the board. That wasn't
right.
just a. That wasn't just a.
And I'm going to assume Brad Wing never scored another touchdown.
Probably not.
Which is why I sort of, as the fun police. There's too many people out there that are the fun police. If a punter, they run a successful fake punt and he's going to score his only touchdown ever, and he throws up this going to the goal line, hell, it should be okay, right?
He's a punter. Yeah, I do think we ought to grade on a curve.
Yeah. And if I'm playing Texas and if beating Texas means something, then I feel like if I score a big touchdown, like if Mark Ingram had scored a touchdown in 2009 and he had gotten up and done that, there's no way that should be a flag if he's not doing it to another player. If he's just doing it to the Alabama fans in the stands or the camera, my God, let them have fun.
A good example of this is I don't know why I remember this, but I remember in the 2009 SEC championship game, I think Mark Ingram scored a touchdown and got up and did the Gator Chomp. He did not do it at a Florida player.
That's right.
But he did it in the end zone, and I don't believe it was flagged. That's the equivalent of this.
That's right.
Roughly the equivalent. I mean, you're doing a Gator Chomp, not a dead cow.
Now they do, if you go throat slash for some reason, no matter where you do that.
I never understood why that became.
Yeah, but no matter where you do that, they're going to throw a flag on that.
Right.
Yeah.
I never understood why the throat slash is where we decided to draw the line, but they decided to draw the line.
Yeah.
There.
So if you do this and then this, they're going to flag you.
Yeah,
on that, right?
I've seen that happen, but I do not think the horns down in and of itself should be a taunting penalty. If I do it in your face, it's taunting.
So a media question for you.
Okay.
It was asked last year.
Right.
It was asked this year. It's been answered the same way. Will they ask it again next year?
Yeah.
Oh,
they
yeah.
will. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
May even be somebody from Texas.
Yeah.
Or Oklahoma.
Or they may ask the Texas folks. Part of our show being brought to you by the wonderful folks at Moore's Marinade. We've had some really good food up here, but I can't wait to get home for a weekend when I do some grilling, maybe make some grilled chicken wings on a Saturday night. Little Moore's Marinade kicks that up another notch.
Boy, it does. I love me some Moore's Marinade. And, you think of Moore's Marinade, you think of maybe just putting it on like pork chops, chicken, or steak. You could put it really on anything. And in fact, they've got that buffalo wing sauce that adds the perfectly tangy flavor that will keep you licking your fingers even after the wings are done. Dip, drizzle, slather Moore's buffalo wing sauce on everything you eat. Chicken fingers, burgers, sandwiches, pizza, pasta, tacos, fries, and more. See why grill masters prefer Moore's marinades and wing sauces. You can go online to see that. mooresmarinades.com. mooresmarinades.com for recipe ideas and grilling inspiration.
I get asked all the time, or told all the time, that, you guys have a lot of sponsors, but it doesn't seem like you guys have any sponsors because they're such a big part of the show, because we sort of blend them into segments like we just did about the thimble and me being called the D word. And then we worked a sponsor in on that. So I will continue to work it in the show and give you a 6-minute warning before LT tells you about Michelson in about 6 minutes.
So dickhead again. I can do that one on the fly. I've been doing that one for 20 years.
So we'll tell you about Michelson in about 6 minutes. But on Michelson, look ahead. Spencer Rattler, you guys brought it up with Andy Staples, and here's a guy that not Andy, Spencer Rattler, who has been inconsistent. I think would be a compliment for him. He's been different than inconsistent. He's had flashes of goodness and not a lot of goodness.
Well, what Andy brought up about South Carolina, and we got off on another tangent with him, but I was going to say, Lance, that was the microcosm of Spencer Rattler's career. They go to Florida, they get run out of the stadium, and then the next 2 weeks beat Tennessee and Clemson. The next 2 weeks after he gets, and he looked like a world beater against both them.
And they don't do that without Spencer Rattler,
No,
right? He has a game
absolutely
that they could beat anybody in the country, as they showed.
Yeah, and that's the microcosm of Spencer Rattler. That's his career basically summed up in 3 games.
Yeah, if you don't think South Carolina can beat Georgia, then you don't know Spencer Rattler's career. But if you're going to bet on South Carolina to even cover against Georgia, then you don't know Spencer Rattler's career.
Absolutely.
So Spencer Rattler, this is what was interesting. That game.
Which one? The Florida game?
No, the Tennessee game.
Well, give me his Florida number.
Florida, 18 of 26, 145, no picks, no touchdowns.
Yeah,
completed
very
70% of his
passes.
passes.
I mean, they looked awful.
Yeah, but my best player on the team, my quarterback, can't not have no touchdowns.
That's
you know
right.
what I mean?
And 185 ain't going to get it done on the road.
He had 8 touchdowns coming in to that Tennessee game. 3 of the 8 touchdowns were against Vanderbilt. And he had 6 touchdowns against Tennessee. 30 of 37, 438, 6 touchdowns, no picks.
Now, Hendon Hooker got hurt in that game. That game was over when Hendon Hooker got hurt already. That game was over. I mean,
Right.
South Carolina.
But still, yeah. I mean,
that was just
by 25 points.
That was just a magical night for South Carolina. It was impossible to explain. And I didn't think there was any way they could back it up the next week. On the road, by the way, at Clemson.
Now, I don't know boxing like LT does or others, but to me, that's what makes South Carolina Buster Douglas.
That's look, that's what I brought up to Andy. I think you've got that on a given Saturday. I think Kentucky is one of those teams. I think South Carolina is one of those teams. I think Tennessee again will be one of those teams.
A&M.
I think Arkansas is one of those teams.
I'm
going
to pull up South Carolina's schedule. What are you saying?
Surprisingly, Mississippi State has some. I mean, not surprisingly, but they've got some talent.
But you're going to say some dudes.
Sam Pittman. They've got dudes.
Well, they've got the most experienced quarterback in the league.
And they can they're pretty good secondary too at Mississippi State. So that's a team I think could or will beat somebody they're not supposed to beat this year.
Yeah, I'm fascinated to see their offense.
Tyler's got up South Carolina's schedule. I mean, find me the Buster Douglas game there. I mean, you immediately can really only go to Georgia, right? I guess maybe Texas A&M.
Yeah, the problem for South Carolina
on the road
is they've got the really difficult games on the road.
Yeah.
They really do. They're at Georgia.
But if you look at North Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and Clemson, those are games that they don't have. South Carolina, even with Shane's recruiting, they don't have that kind of talent, really. But they could beat all of those. They won't beat all of those, but they've got a good enough quarterback and some talent there that they won't beat Georgia, but they can beat North Carolina. They can beat Tennessee. They can beat Texas A&M. They can beat Clemson.
Yeah, but
again.
there's really only one Buster Douglas game on there, unless A&M is really, really good. The
Who do
only
we have
Buster,
here?
that's Jacksonville State, baby. It's the Gamecocks game. That's the Battle of the Cocks. Rockstar is going to go. Rockstar, do you already have your tickets for that game?
It's all cocky talk. Yeah, I'm all about some
Yes.
cocky talk.
I think they're
That's
7 and 5.
That's the Cock Bowl, Rockstar. You
Yeah,
think they're 7 and 5?
Yeah, if you're
The
a
game
South
gets in the
Carolina
way.
fan, is that good enough?
Nope. I think you feel like you've moved beyond 7 and 5 now.
Yeah. All right, Michelson Laser Vision bringing you that look ahead to Spencer Radler there. Great to have our friends at Michelson along for the ride in Nashville, Tennessee.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. That is the number that I called more than 2 decades ago. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. I've got 2015 vision better than 2020. I had the 2200 vision, legally blind without the aid of contacts. Make the call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Again, 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Back to Nashville in just a moment.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
We're live in Nashville this week, bringing you SEC Media Days thanks to our friends at MyBookie. Be sure to tune in on our social accounts so you don't miss a thing. Also brought to you by Moore's Marinades and Wing Sauces, Precision Sports Medicine, Michelson Laser Vision, and Woodbridge Wines. There are so many things I love about Walk-Ons. Authentic, mouth-watering Louisiana cuisine, prepared fresh, daily from scratch. A great beer selection and TVs everywhere to watch the big game every day of the week. And of course, they've got 2 great locations on Highway 280 and 119 and at Hoover near the Hoover Met. Walk-Ons is also a great place for happy hour, 2 to 6 Monday through Friday with $5 moonshine swirls, $5 house pours, and half-price appetizers. And it's an easy take-home experience for the family as well. Highway 280 in Hoover with Walk-Ons.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 2200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 2015 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation, 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you, 969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Open 24/7, so come on in for non-stop gaming action. You'll find the latest, hottest, most exciting games around, and you'll love the fun bonuses and big jackpots. Plus, you can watch and wager on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. Your best bet for big wins is just minutes away at Birmingham Racecourse Casino, where you can be a winner too. Birmingham Racecourse Casino off I-459, exit 31 Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Make this a sweet southern summer with a new or used RV from Johnston RV Center. With locations in Coleman and Decatur, they now have new travel trailers starting at just $139 per month. You can also find the lowest prices on fifth wheels, toy haulers, and motorhomes. There's something for everyone. Johnston RV Center also offers a military discount and lifetime warranty for all new and used campers 2 years old or newer. For more information, visit their website at johnstonrvcenter.com or I-65 exit 304 in Coleman and 334 in Decatur.
You hear a lot of interesting phrases while playing golf, like, I think you're on the beach, or the classic, you gotta hit it, Alice. One word you're sure to hear right now at Bentbrook Golf Club is wow. Brand new carts with complimentary GPS, and the bent grass greens are so consistent, you just might drain a few more putts, Alice. Tee it up and find out for yourself. Book around today at bentbrook.com or call 428-1999. It's better at Bentbrook.
The next round is live in Nashville, bringing you SEC Media Days thanks to our friends at MyBookie. Follow along on all of our social media accounts and subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a thing. Our Media Days coverage is brought to you by Wayne's Pest Control, Champies, Tommy James Law, and Johnston RV.
Back with you on the next round. This segment of the show being brought to you by our friends, in part by our friends at mybookie.ag. They bring you all of our coverage from Nashville. And look who's back to do the list. LT is quickly putting a list together, and the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference is back.
How was Feinbaum?
It's good. We talked about some of the bigger policy issues, and I've spent a lot of time on mental health. They had a nice feature on what Ole Miss has done to prepare their coaches for dealing with mental health issues. It is the most identified issue on an agenda from student athletes for conversation.
It's so important.
Yeah.
I had a meltdown at the national championship in Indianapolis, and it was so bad I had to call these guys to come, like, literally settle me down to get my bearings straight. And when I got home, I went and got help, and I'm on meds now.
Well, part of it is the ability to have the conversation. I actually spoke probably in 2018 intentionally at media days about the issues around mental health, and I was really, I don't know what I expected, but surprised by the amount of feedback and input that was like, thank you for saying something and making it okay to ask for help or call for help. We talk about the issues at almost every meeting of our athletics directors, and certainly at every meeting of our student athletes, and our chief medical advisor, Dr. Katie O'Neill, who's an infectious disease specialist, but a wonderful overall doctor, has spent an enormous amount of time in her first year trying to connect what we're doing in different ways, particularly around mental health. I've talked to agents about mental health support for our coaches, and I've spent time on campus because of the high stress and high pressure that they're under. And, we've kind of joked about the issue, but sports gambling does create a new component of pressure for participants that I don't think we've yet coped with. And I mentioned that in Monday's remarks as well.
Yeah, I mean, I have two college age kids. Both of them have college age kids, but it's not just them. And I'm glad you brought up the coaches, because as adults too, that mental health thing is a real deal. And I can't imagine, and we've seen it with different coaches, even in our league, that have struggled with it.
Yeah. And I know probably more than a little bit about the support structures on our campus. One of the challenges we've discussed is having relatable hires, individuals in those mental health positions with a similar background and experiences. That's enormously hard. I think I saw a stat like 87% of the mental health counselors in the country are white. So how do you develop diversity in that?
You can't get in front of anybody right now. There's such a lack of support out there.
It's like a 3-month lag.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah.
So ours is ours. So for all the criticism, they
that's
don't do
huge.
this, they don't do this. Our student athletes have concierge services. And the feature that was just shown on the network from Ole Miss is, immediate services. And Lane told a story about a tweet that caused concern, and within moments, 15 people are reaching out to that individual. So one of the, check the box in a really good way +1s for college athletics is being ahead of the mental health needs, but working to stay ahead of the mental health needs to provide support is really a significant challenge.
I think major corporations should do it.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to get all serious, but it's good stuff. Very, very important.
Very.
From that to, laughter is a great mental release. LT's got a list for you. I don't know if you'll make us laugh or not. I don't want to.
The foundation of the show is awkward transitions. So
usually,
did you consider that before next round?
Usually separated by a sponsor, but I'm going to throw a sponsor in here because I didn't give Lance a warning.
Perrier.
Perrier sponsored earlier.
You need a new bottle?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I've been nursing it.
All right, here we go.
Okay. The Godfather or Goodfellas?
Goodfellas.
You grew up in New York. Are those I don't think up in Buffalo you had a whole lot of gangster guys.
It was not Buffalo, but that's I was outside Syracuse. I was
outside of Syracuse.
I lived in the middle of a dairy farm.
Yeah, so not a whole lot of
a whole lot of mafia action.
Yeah.
I did.
Did you watch Sopranos?
Not really, not with any intent. No.
Okay.
I watched Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I don't really recommend for various reasons.
Oh, it's so good.
It's a Spite
Hey,
Store.
the crazy thing
Delta
is,
has season 10. The whole Spite Store thing is just comical to me.
it is, and how they tie everything together, and most of it's improv with just a basis for a script. They're big Seinfeld guys. I didn't like Seinfeld, but I told them if they like Seinfeld, they'd love this, right?
Yeah, because they have these cameos. There was an episode where Larry's bothered by the star of the theatrical performance that he's produced is wearing the same pants 2 days in a row. I went in the office, I'm like, how many of you wear the same pair of pants 2 days in a row? I'll do it with Blue Delta because I bought into the whole natural fiber thing, but I'm like, I like, that's like, I do not wear the same pair of pants.
It's so
ever.
funny though. Like I don't like putting garbage in my bathroom garbage can. I think it looks tacky. And Larry, same thing. I really do. Like if I go to the bathroom, I don't like Q-tips and floss and that kind of stuff.
No, I never thought about that. But today when I went to the bathroom, I had thrown something in there last night. And I was like,
There's
this
an
doesn't look
episode
right.
on shirking one of his staff, like, oh, no, they're great. They'll help you really good. And it was passing down like Matt Damon had done it to Larry David.
And I guarantee this has happened to you before. The fire alarm that beeps and you can't find it in the house.
It's awful.
And Larry pulls it out, and then the house burns down.
I haven't had the house burned down, but I have had. You pull it out, then you lay there like, well, if something happens, it doesn't have a battery. Then you get back up, and you wasted 2 hours of sleep.
Okay, more enjoyable, great movie or good book?
Why didn't you go great book? Because you know he likes to read.
I know he's going to go great.
Yeah,
book.
good book. Really good book. I haven't been to a movie theater since like 2018. I need to go because I enjoy movies, but I like the mental aspect.
Sound of Freedom. You need to go see it. It's good.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay.
What else is out now?
Barbie.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, has anybody seen that?
Lunsford sees them all. He sees them before they come out.
Oppenheimer.
Did you like Oppenheimer? Oh,
The
yeah.
Mission
Yeah, that's it.
Impossible one? Is that
Yeah,
Mission
it was out
Impossible?
last week.
You know, that you want to suspend reality for a while? For a
Yeah,
couple
that's
hours?
Mission Impossible. Yeah.
Last fast food drive-through you went through.
Whataburger.
Oh, interesting.
280.
Texas.
No,
I mean, hell, they're joining the league.
I mean, I don't think.
I want to be genuine in this response.
Have you ever
Has
gone?
it been a long time?
Yeah.
Have you ever gone through
I remember.
Have you ever gone through
I
the?
take it back. Whataburger was an airport. It was Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Have you ever gone through the drive-through of Cookout?
Oh yeah,
It is.
big fan.
It is the most anxiety-inducing moment of my life, though. That
Wait,
menu.
you eat Cookout?
Especially when there's two lanes.
Like,
oh
that,
man.
that menu is so confusing.
Oh, but
I
then
cannot
there's
figure
one
it out.
like south of Greenville, South Carolina, where you have to pull around
Yeah.
to pay, and you're like, what are you going to find around that corner?
I mean, a case of, yeah,
But the food is outstanding.
I love Cookout, but
Big fan of Cookout.
Forrester pointed
Are we
out.
getting this segment sponsored
No.
by Perrier and Cookout?
You can get a bag.
You know how we
full
work
food for
now.
It's like Talladega Nights, Perrier and Cookout.
I know that's our show.
Okay. Have you ever rode in the back of a pickup truck?
Absolutely.
Last time.
Oh, I was my teenage years.
Yeah.
We had pickups my entire youth, and then I owned a Ford Ranger pickup, which really wasn't a pickup.
The reason I asked this is we had like 6 going to dinner last night, and we were riding in a truck, and he was like, "It's legal to ride in the back of the truck if you guys want to jump in the back." You remember that?
I do
I'll
remember
give
that.
you,
We'll
a
pass.
shocking example of the contrast of growing up in New York State. My parents, red Ford 150, 1978 version with one of those camper tops on the back. You know, those.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
My brother and I, the whole way down from Skaneateles, New York to New York City, driving around in New York City. We're in the back of the pickup.
Yeah.
Truck. It's like the Beverly Hills.
I always do.
I was in high school.
I always do. You're one of us.
Middle of New York City. I have ridden in the back of a pickup truck.
Southerner at heart.
Yep.
So you're a big traveler.
Where I'm from in New York, it's a lot closer to Mississippi than anybody in New York cares to admit.
You're a big traveler. Best city, it can be in the States or out of the country you've ever visited.
Ask me that again because I was wondering if I should have said what I just said. But
Yeah,
go-
best
too late.
I thought it was a compliment.
It was. I
honestly.
took it as a
Yeah.
compliment.
best city you've ever visited.
Wow. Or in Nashville, so you could play that way. Love Dublin. I love going to
Yeah.
Dublin, Ireland.
Did you go to
Killarney.
Edinburgh in Scotland?
I know we were going to, and then we bought a lake place. We are going to go the next year. I love the London trip too, though. Dublin would be just a fascinating place. Been to Dubai. That's something.
Oh
to see.
wow.
It's like one thing, and then the next block there's desert.
That's why son dropped it on me. He's like, "Hey, I want to go to Dubai, Dad." And I'm like, yeah.
It's interesting.
I bet you do.
I wasn't there to go see everything, but seeing it, you're like, "Wow, I went to Oman as part of that trip." So that was pretty neat.
D1 Sports Wire. I just got an alert. Commissioner loves Dublin. Who will Vandy play in Ireland to open the season?
I've met with the Lord Mayor of Dublin about playing a game there.
An SEC game?
Yeah. Yeah, it was 2016, 17.
Yeah,
I've been over there, but it is. I've explained this to those interested. Like others are doing it with 40,000 seat stadiums that are half full. We're not moving the economics of 103,000 seat stadium. It just isn't as easy as it seems. We've had some interest in the league, but it'd be pretty cool.
You could do it at
especially
Wembley,
week
could
zero.
You talked about London.
Yeah. If you have interest, we've got South Carolina playing in Paris this year in women's basketball, and our staff is providing support there. I don't want to just do those.
I assume you'll be at that game.
It is football season. It is football season.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it is odd that you love Dublin. You took that meeting, and we're not playing a football game there. I mean, I'm not sure.
Apparently, I'm not nearly as powerful as people think.
No, I just think that's a smart move by you.
Yeah,
To go to a city you love.
you had to go
have
sniff it out.
Well, no, I was there on
have a good meeting.
So the full story is after my first year as commissioner in April, I looked at my wife and I'm like, I have to get out of the country. Like it just was so much. And the funnier story I've told is we went to Dublin. I rode those red double-decker tourist buses.
Yes.
Like you see those in New York, like I can't believe people get on that thing. I love that trip in Dublin.
Oh, wow.
Rolling around the top in town, the history there, the stops. We go to Killarney. We take a jaunting cart. Are you familiar with those?
I'm not.
Horse-drawn. You got a little guy rowing it. It's got 2 seats, 2 wheels, up the mountain. Hop in a canoe that's got a motor. You go down a chain of lakes. It's really neat. Gap of Dunlow. And you come out at a castle. We get out of the boat. We're walking towards the castle to tour the castle. I don't have any logos on. This is my first year. Nobody knows who I am. And there were 4 LSU fans who recognized me.
Wow.
In Dublin, Ireland. Or in Killarney. The
Yeah.
next year we go back because that was the U2 concert year. And we're in a pub, and I walked right by a South Carolina soccer player I had my picture taken with like 4 months or 6, 7 months earlier. And sat next to her and one of her teammates from an Icelandic professional soccer team. So small world.
Wow.
SEC's everywhere.
I got 2 more for you. Most entertaining game you've ever witnessed in person. It doesn't have to be football.
Well, the Georgia Oklahoma Rose Bowl.
Oh, that was amazing.
That was remarkable because the highs and lows.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a great venue to watch a game.
Yeah. Syracuse and Nebraska played football. Nebraska was in the Carrier Dome, now the JMA Wireless Dome. In 1984, and Syracuse upset them. That's when I was part of field rushing, which you shouldn't do.
You did that. Next time you hand out a fine.
I was not leading, I was following.
Okay,
Syracuse
yeah.
Georgetown games back in the Patrick Ewing, Ronnie Cycli type era.
At the dome,
80s,
at the Carrier Dome? Yeah.
33,000
Oh,
people
yeah.
Do you know
at
Boeheim?
the top. I've met him.
He seems like a jerk.
He's been nice to me.
If 80,000 ball fans were on the field, there was one person that was first, a leader. The other 79,999 were the followers.
Yeah. And Dunaway was videoing.
Yeah.
You remember
Tiger
Dunaway
Woods last Masters? I was at 18.
2019?
On the 4th round. Yeah.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I decided to stay. It was, the weather was early.
Yep,
So
yep.
watching him walk, and it was 10 yards from where I was seated at 18, up to greet his son, and just, the possibilities around redemption and change, and some of the physical things he had faced. Well, that was a really cool moment.
Speaking of Tiger, most interesting person you've ever played golf with?
In my foursome?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, rats.
Oh, why?
no.
Well, what's the other answer?
Josh Allen
Oh, really? The
yeah.
Buffalo quarterback, huh?
and CC Sabathia. We were just at this thing earlier.
Who's bigger? CC, right?
I think
No,
Josh is.
CC's
I thought he was 6'7".
well taller, but he's not the CC Sabathia that was playing at Cleveland and other places.
Can both of those guys match
It's
a golf ball?
fascinating. Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, Allen especially.
That's all I got.
Yeah.
What was your handicap? What's your handicap?
I don't play enough to have one.
He's traveling
Yeah.
too much.
I know. Dunaway's got his to an all-time low.
Yeah.
He wanted to bring that up.
What is that?
I don't want to say now because you
It's
don't
an
have one.
11.
Okay.
He's
I
got
shot
it
a
down to 11.
92 at a links course in California and felt good about it.
Well,
3 weeks
I would
ago.
have felt great about it. My
Had fun. I was at Augusta National with a PGA staff member who said pivoting the marketing of the game to away from your score and what's your story, because every time there's a hole where you have this story, right? Where,
right.
man, you just
Yeah.
hit it pure. And
That's
then
right.
You just got, I was playing at the country club of Little Rock. 15 is their signature hole. First off the drive to the right, and I'm stymied behind trees. I've got room. I pull out a 5-iron. It's as smooth as can be, and you just catch it. And, it just jumps off.
Such a good feeling.
And I'm up just on the side of the green, 2-putt, I birdie the hole, birdie the hole. And then the rest of the thing was a disaster of a scoring round for me.
It doesn't matter. You got the story.
I get to the tee of the next hole. It's a short par 3 with a 9-iron. And I somehow duck hooked the thing so far left I can't find it, and I have no idea how that could have happened physically. So 15.
What tees do you hit from?
Wooden tees usually.
Because Dunaway, you play from the ladies, right?
I don't play from the ladies. I play appropriate to my age.
The long ones with the stripes.
Yeah.
So you know how
That's
deep
how
it
deep
is.
the tee is.
Do you have master socks on?
He does. I noticed that
That's
earlier.
Exclusive.
Yeah.
If you go to
Can't hide it.
my TV guy from CAA turned me on like 5 years ago. I go in there and you'll see me walking around Augusta with a bag full of socks. I come home and Kathy's like, "Where are you going to put all those socks?" I'm like storing them like a squirrel with acorns, because you never know when you're going to the hole.
How many times have you played it?
One time. Played after the 21 on the Monday, which is
Oh, wow.
with
Right
the pins.
Yeah.
So my claim to fame there is on the par 3s. 3 of the par 3s I parred. So 4, 6, which is back right deep from that elevated
Yeah,
tee.
it's like a
off the tee.
Yeah.
I think I was pumping a 4-iron in there. Just
Wow.
to the back, and then 2-putted from the back for a par. I was pretty proud of that.
Yeah, you should be.
4 to the right, pin high, got up and down. 12 was a disaster.
Yeah, did you hit it in
Just,
water?
it's a mind game.
Yeah, it is.
Because I've parred the 2 par 3s.
I
I'm
know.
like, boy, I got a streak going, right?
Yeah,
Just, and you're so trying to be so smooth that you, and then 16 played in the middle. Like I had watched the day before, it was when Morikawa, who won? Matsuyama?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
Hideki
Yeah,
Matsuyama.
so he comes, I sat at 15, green 16. I'm now killing your time, right?
No, we don't care.
Buster
That's okay.
Olney's gone.
Yeah,
And-
no, but Buster
because
knows we're running
at the
late.
beginning of the day, I knew that was the place that if there's ever a chance, it would be competitive. And was it Schauffele gets through there, and I think he birdies, and then Matsuyama goes over the green. I didn't realize how many people hit past that green into 16 pond.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get there, and there's just no way to stop it.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about when they play 15, yeah.
And then Schauffele, I think it was Schauffele was second that year. He's on 16 green, and there'd been no wind the whole time. And right before he plays, you can see the wind swirls up, and he kept the same club. He's playing at the hole. Everybody else is playing at the middle. And so he ends up in the water. And had he just parred that, it's a whole different dynamic, because now he's got the momentum. Matsuyama would have probably given up at least one stroke right there. It would have been fascinating to see.
So you saw that, and you're like, tomorrow when I play, I'm in the middle of the green.
Just hit in the middle of the
That's
green.
smart play.
It's good advice.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you again. It's
Yeah,
always great
yeah.
having you. Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
see you. We'll see you.
You want me to come back at 6? And,
Yeah,
6
we'll keep going.
We're
6
done
and
at
10. Like
Listen,
local news.
You got the weather?
We will bump anything for you. We don't even have to break now. We can keep going. We own this thing.
I'm here. So
Do you want to talk to Buster? I mean, he's an SEC guy.
if that doesn't violate some.
No, that's a rock star. Can you go ahead and call Buster, and we'll let Greg Sankey. Do you have a question for him? Can you come up with a baseball question?
We're going to take a break first? Or
Well,
we're gonna
I
keep
don't
rolling?
know. I don't know. What do you got to do? Can you sit through it? Well, I mean, I don't know. You just said we blow through the break. Now we're going to take the break.
No,
we own this thing.
We'll keep going.
I mean, we own this thing. I'm told. Well, I'm sure we need to do a
For our
Great
affiliates
deal
along the
of
way.
confusion and upper management.
No.
Yeah, look at
People
upper management.
complain about organizational decision making, and
For our-
here it is live on the air.
For our affiliates along the way, we'll be on a little later tonight.
Yeah,
we'll
figure it out.
Yeah, we'll make it work.
We'll make it
It'll
work.
be fine. The
Yeah.
commissioner's with us here. We're not gonna break this. In fact, we'll label this continuous coverage from SEC Media Days right now, being brought to you by a ton of people. LT, including our great friends right now at Hemp Hill. Tell us about Hemp Hill.
Yeah, right now, Hemp Hill wants to remind you they are offering 0% for 60 months for qualified members, plus free 10-year labor warranty when you mention the next round. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Make sure your HVAC unit ready to keep up with the changing weather. Hemp Hill Services, locally owned and operated independent train dealer. The team can service all makes and models for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs. Call Hemp Hill Services. Hard to stop a train. Call 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Any updates, Brownie?
He is up, Buster Olney, who joins us just like our coverage here in Nashville, courtesy of mybookie.ag. We have a special. First of all, Buster, I hope you're doing well. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Good. We have the SEC commissioner with us, Greg Sankey, sitting in, just hanging out with us as SEC Media Days wraps up. So, you being a Vanderbilt grad, he wanted to, maybe ask a couple of baseball questions to you. So, I hope you're okay with talking to the commish.
Yes, sir, Mr. Commissioner.
That's the only right answer in that moment.
I mean, all of a sudden, Buster,
this put on the spot right there.
Buster, you sound like Sparky Anderson in 1976 on the end of a dial-up phone talking to the president. Yes, sir, Mr. Ford. Go ahead.
Well, being a Vanderbilt guy, we got to go for every advantage we can get.
Go ahead, Commissioner. You're on with Buster.
Oh, you were giving me questions.
Yeah, do you want a baseball question? You haven't watched much baseball.
I will. I'm curious from his perspective how he evaluates the talent that comes out of the Southeastern Conference and the preparation by playing in this league. Is it something that's meaningful for somebody to make the leap into the majors or into the high minors, or how should we look at ourselves differently from someone who's on the outside taking a Major League Baseball perspective?
Yeah, you're making me wish that I had asked the question of general managers and scouting directors, what level they would put SEC baseball on. Is it the equivalent of AA? Is it something, higher? Is it something a little lower? Because, as you start to ask the question, it was like, oh, my God, all the time when I call general managers or scouting directors in March or April or May, they'll, the first question is, okay, I'm going to Nashville. Where do I get something to eat? And then they talk about, I saw, this team, I saw LSU, they're loaded. I saw Vanderbilt, they're loaded. I saw this team, Florida. So I think you can see that in recent years, people have looked at, college players and SEC players in particular is being so close to being ready to the big leagues. Paul Skeens, the first pick in this year's draft out of LSU, I've had evaluators say he could pitch in the big leagues right now. He'd be one of the Pirates' 10 best pitchers right now. So the SEC, clearly the competition there does a great job in preparing those guys for the big leagues.
I need this clip for my promo.
No absolutely. You guys don't have this point.
We'll send it to you.
Yes.
Hey, speaking of Skeens, that signing bonus, any surprise there?
I don't think so. I mean, Ben Cherington, who runs the baseball ops for the Pirates, he is a really smart guy, and I know that he's going to go through every possible scenario about how they're going to handle things, how the signing of one player potentially impacts the rest of the draft, how you measure someone of his caliber, his talent, against other guys. I think what happened is that their perspective was that this is someone who could impact them in the big leagues as quickly as possible. As you guys know, they have all these pre-draft conversations where they probably refer to it as like monopoly money or some other euphemism, where they get a sense of where the players are looking for a signing bonus.
Am I not? I'm correct here. Buster's got a farm in New England as well, and Greg Sankey, the commissioner, is an old farm guy from upstate New York. You guys could talk farming a little bit. What kind of farm does your family have, Buster?
So we had Jersey cows on our farm in Randolph Center, and it's funny because I my family every year, I'm going to go back there in 2 weeks, rents a place on Lake George because my family has ties there at Hewlett's Landing since the early 1800s. So that's interesting. And Mr. Commissioner, I'm sure that you probably know all about, you guys read Laura Ingalls Wilder books, Almanzo Wilder, who she was married to. He had a farm up in Malone in upstate New York.
You reminded me of that. My lake place is in Skaneateles, New York, and Skaneateles Lake. People who have not been to New York State and experienced the lakes don't know what they're missing. I am personally a lake snob. Lake George is pretty spectacular. The Finger
Well,
Lakes
please
region,
tell me your
that's home for me.
Jersey. Please tell me you like Jersey cows better than Holsteins. That's all I need to know.
That's we had chickens and pigs, so I'm not.
Chickens and pigs. I mean, why? What is
the dairy farm was down the hill?
I think I just saw Buster on just the shot we have here. We don't have video of him. It seems like he turned his nose up at the chicken and pig farmer there.
I'm not. We weren't farmers. My
Okay.
dad's a welder. We lived in the middle of farms.
Oh, middle of farmland.
Yeah, so
okay.
Dunaway just completely butchered that.
Misreporting.
We used to go to the farm to actually get our milk when I was young, direct from the farmer.
Oh, really?
Right around the
yeah.
corner.
So, Buster, what is the difference between Jersey cows and Holsteins?
Well, besides the fact that they're better and smarter than Holsteins,
Yeah.
and all things generate much higher volume of milk. But Jersey milk is much higher in butterfat content, and it's better for cheese, for ice cream, etc. Which is why a lot of the farms that feed into Ben and Jerry's in Vermont, they are Jersey farms because of that butterfat content.
Wow. How about that?
We're not even talking about Holsteins.
Well, Holsteins, I know, like, I have actually, Buster, in my family, somebody that owns a pretty successful farm, and they were making a big deal out of Holstein cows. So I didn't really, and I don't know much, even though I grew up in a little bit of a rural area, I just don't know a whole lot about it. So,
I can't believe we're having this conversation.
what ESPN's Buster Olney and the commissioner of the Southeastern Conference?
Appearance agreements are going to be greatly modified after this episode.
I would imagine. So, Buster, Braves fans, they lost 4 straight games, and it was like the world was coming to an end. And one of them was that wild Arizona game. I mean, I guess what are you laughing at? What?
I'm just sitting here with one of my favorite reporters, Buster Olney, and the most powerful man in college athletics, and it's the most unique show I've ever been a part of.
It's our show.
Yes.
But Buster, I mean, what can you tell Braves fans coming out of the All-Star break that wonder if maybe the All-Star break got them out of rhythm a little bit?
I think they'll be fine. But what I do think is, and my son, I told you, he's a crazy Braves fan, 19 years old. He texted me the other day during that crazy 16-13 game of the Diamondbacks. He said, "This is a blessing in disguise because it's going to be a dose of truth for the front office that they need pitching help before the deadline." And you guys know Alex Topoulos is the head of baseball ops with the Braves. His deals for those outfielders propelled them to the championship in 2021. And I'm sure, having known Alex, he's got a lot of great humility to him that he probably is looking at and saying, you know what, we need to add a starting pitcher. We need to add a bullpen piece. So who knows? Maybe they'll surprise us and be in the conversation for, a Marcus Stroman. Maybe they'll be in the conversation for Jack Flaherty of the Cardinals. He's been pitching better. He's available for trade. Lucas Giolito. They need help. We talked last week about how the Phillies, they're not going to catch the Braves in the National League East. But that team is put together a great pitching staff, which has an ERA a half run better than any other team, including the Braves, since June 3rd. The Braves need help. They got a great everyday lineup. It's the best everyday lineup in baseball. I think, people believe that, but they are going to need help. And I will tell you this too. Everyone's wondering about Shohei Ohtani and will he be traded? What teams could be interested in him? Even if the Braves were prepared to pay the price for Ohtani if he's traded, what you hear is that their farm system, which has graduated so many guys in the big leagues in recent years, really doesn't have the type of talent that the Angels are going to need to trade Ohtani.
Fenway Park, Sunday night for Buster and the gang on ESPN. 6 o'clock first pitch, Mets Red Sox. That's the game you will see with Buster and his crew Sunday night on ESPN. He will be back with us next Thursday, as always, courtesy of mybookie.ag. Thank you so much for the time and flexibility today, Buster. And the answers about cows. We greatly appreciate all of it.
Absolutely. I have to get some Ben and Jerry's in the mail to you guys.
Please do. Did you get our coffee? We sent you coffee. Did you get it and try it yet?
I got a notification that I have something in my mailbox, and I'm headed out there as soon as I'm done talking with you guys.
Fantastic. Let us know how it is. Thank you, Buster. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
All right, buddy. You too. Buster with us on the JohnstonRVCenter.com hotline is always presented by MyBookie.ag.
You're about to ask the question. We have coffee.
Yeah, we got you some.
Show up.
Do you drink coffee?
Oh, I love coffee.
Okay, well, we're going to send you home with a bag.
Is it whole bean or grind?
Whole.
Yeah,
Is
so
whole
I have
okay?
a grinder every morning.
Yeah.
Dark
Fantastic.
roast?
Yep.
Dark roast, or is this a light
that dark?
show?
Is that a
Dark?
medium? We have a medium, a dark.
Oh, this is dark roast.
Yeah.
This is an impressive step forward. For
Yeah,
the
do you
show.
see our photo?
You turn down our vodka, you take our coffee.
Yeah. So who do you think looks most like themselves on there? Me, Rockstar, Jim, or Lance?
None of the above.
Goodness. It looks like...
Dunaway drew it with his left hand.
What happened to Jim's head?
well, they forgot. They had to Photoshop one on.
He's got no nose.
Age, man.
No
It's
nose. We are without nasal passages.
We worked hard. We drank a lot of different cups of coffee to come up with the right bean for that.
Yeah.
So
I respect that. Seriously.
Yeah.
No,
Big fan of coffee. I have about 6 different kinds. Hawaii, pea berry blend, awesome. I could go down the list of places, but they're not sponsoring you. So
No, but where's the best place you've ever had a cup of coffee?
like location or
Yeah,
the quality of the coffee.
Yeah, either or. I mean, was it a certain city?
My
restaurant?
youngest daughter and I spent a weekend for music, 2 U2 concerts and a third-day concert, and we'd go drink coffee in Times Square and just sit and watch for 2 hours. It was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, the people watching.
But I've done
yeah.
that in London too, so not great. I mean, the coffee's fine. The Kauai coffee. We were out there last year, the week before Vanderbilt. The pea berry blend was good, really good stuff.
Yeah.
There's a coffee shop, a coffee place, White Rock Coffee in Dallas that has an Our Lady of the Lake blend, which it reminds me of Monty Python Spamalot because there's an Our Lady of the Lake stick in there, but it's a dark blend that's just really smoky with a chocolate flavor. You've got me going now.
Yeah. Everybody in the
Finger
chat,
Lakes,
got a passion.
Finger Lakes Coffee has a couple lake blends from up in that region.
Right.
They've named them that are really, really tasty.
everybody in the chat room thinks you've found an oasis up here from all the serious stuff going on in the second floor. Is that what happened?
I don't know what's
Does anybody in the conference?
I've got my phone's on airplane mode.
Oh, fantastic.
People are packing up, and it's
Yeah.
like, just one more question.
Does anybody in the entire Southeastern Conference know where you are right now?
No,
I love it.
I said I wasn't doing this, and then I was drawn in. It's like the,
Wow,
siren,
yeah.
the siren song
We're very
of
hard
the
to
next
resist.
round.
Yeah,
So
I'm trying to get my logo back.
Here to get it.
I'm going to wait you guys out and steal the logo.
if you
need
walk
that.
out with it, just let Taylor follow you.
Yeah, that's
Just-
right.
We've got to get that.
I do think technically we're supposed to bring it back to Birmingham and drop it off at your office.
Yeah.
Oh, so we were part of this?
No. We
We
paid for
negotiated.
this.
Yes.
Yes.
Is it a lease deal?
Well, I mean, we don't like to get into business
Yeah.
discussions.
Come on. I mean,
Yeah.
if we
That's it.
We tell ya.
Since we talked about vodka
We could talk
sponsorship,
about
yeah.
it. We could probably talk
Appearance
a
again.
partnership.
yeah, we'd
Yeah.
love to.
I don't know.
Yeah.
about
Do you
that.
like?
I have a network to support.
Well, I
so-
know, but how do you think we would play on there?
Wow. Pointed question. I have a job I'm happy with.
No, I mean, like if we did a specialty show for the SEC Network, I think it'd be very popular.
On like dairy cows, perhaps.
No,
since
just
we're-
we would preview the weekend's games.
It's like Krusty the Clown on Simpsons. One time he had a line where "We've got range." That's the line that I keep thinking of. What's been covered here?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We pitched you a bunch of shows when the network was
Yeah,
launching.
And you guys
Who's
are playing-
we and who's you? When the network was beginning, I was not the commissioner.
No, it
so-
was Commissioner Slive. We pitched. He did not. I don't know that he got. Mike Slive is the nicest man that's ever lived. One of them. I don't know that.
Where do I rank?
You're as nice as he is. I was going to say though, I don't think he got our show the way you did.
Right.
The way you do. I don't think Commissioner Slive, though he was very nice to us, would do anything we ask. I don't think he really felt the show the way you do.
Yeah, because we're all sarcastic like you.
Yeah, you've got more of a sense of humor that matches us, and we pitched him the idea of a Do you remember Mystery Science Theater 3000?
Yeah.
So we pitched him the idea of the three of us and Rockstar doing Mystery Science Theater 3000 on old SEC games, like just the 1984 Iron Bowl, and we just do a Mystery Science 3000 theater.
So you'd have the actual silhouettes of those drawings right there.
That's right.
On the bottom of the screen,
And that was
while we watch the games reacting.
And
to
that
it.
was our pitch.
I would go back to the the Alabama LSU game, Rockstar called to the video center. I think that may have hurt your relationship.
Oh, did it really?
I secretly laughed for weeks, and I'm still laughing as I think about it.
That's some of Rockstar's best work. When he puts the phone on hold and is playing the Alabama fight song.
It's not the way it is. It's not the way it is.
It's got Eli Gold highlights.
It's not the way it is. It's just humor.
Yeah,
right.
It was humor.
It's humor.
We could bring something to the table. I know people want
I'm
to
going
watch
to get so many
Missouri.
phone calls
I know
from
people.
my staff when they found out about this. Said, "What were you thinking?" I'd have got that contract done last week because it wouldn't be done this week.
I know people are going to miss a Missouri volleyball game on a Tuesday, but you know
they're called matches. Matches.
Yeah, it's not a game,
and we don't play on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's a replay.
It's a replay. During the day, you don't have any.
Yeah, we can do creative content.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're the only guys coming to me with ideas for shows.
We're Birmingham based.
We got a track record. That's what
the network is based in Charlotte, North Carolina.
It is.
Despite rock stars on hold music.
That was such a funny bit you did.
It's one of those things I was brought into carefully.
Right.
Hey, we want you to listen to this. It wasn't like this is so funny.
We want to see if you think it's funny.
Did you laugh immediately?
Oh yeah, because I think I was probably commissioner then, if I recall, and I had been at both games. Ironically,
Yeah, you pointed that out to us. Yeah,
and that's not the way it works. It's all in humor.
Right.
You have to have the ability to laugh at yourself from time to time.
I remember the first time he played it, though, when he put that phone on hold, and it's Eli Gold highlights. I thought I was gonna die.
What makes it funnier is having been involved in listening to voicemails that actually come into our office.
Right.
There's some stuff you just wouldn't
Oh,
believe.
man, I would love to hear them.
I mean,
is it like fans that are pissed?
Oh,
Is it-
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's another good show. You should have.
Just
We
play
could
them.
host that
Like,
show,
remember
and we just play them.
Mean tweets. Remember
Right.
that segment on game day?
Yeah.
You could do like angry voicemails.
God, I would love that.
One of the most memorable ones, and I think Charlie Hussey is the one who accessed it.
Nicest guy in the world,
Who
Charlie.
called and when Jamarcus Russell was playing at LSU, the fan left a message as serious could be that Jamarcus Russell is a cyborg, complaining that it's not fair. And not only do we have to overcome the other team, the officials, and the unfair schedule, but now we find out Jamarcus Russell, I have on good information, as a cyborg. This is like what, 15 years ago,
Right.
and it's just as dead serious as could be.
That's a 30-minute show right
I
there. Just
know.
playing
That
those
would be
every
great.
week.
Yep. Oh, you'd need a couple hours on some weeks, and there'd be a lot of beeps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many people actually call and ask for you? Do you have any idea?
No, I've got no, but I walk out. Our director of first impressions, who answers the phones because that's what it is, worked at a prominent local private school for the superintendent. And after the first year, I walked out. I'm like, I'm sorry, I offered you this job. She said, well, no, I was prepared well for it. With parents in a private school setting, they can become aggressive, and then after a certain things, so you're like, just put it on direct to voicemail. Don't put.
That's a great advice.
Yep.
Yeah, direct to
Yep.
voicemail.
In fact, I was with Billy Lucci's group at Texags.com.
Great people.
They do a
Asked-
tremendous job. Yeah.
And I said, if people will send me a note or an email and there's no profanity involved, I'll respond.
Okay.
They may not like my response, but
Right.
I'll respond with profanity. But if there's no threats, no abuse, just like, hey, why, or I think that, and so sure enough, within I don't think the tape had even finished running. And somebody said, you said you would respond if there was no profanity or no abuse. And then I haven't responded yet, but I didn't put a timeline.
Yeah, that's true. You just said you'll get back to him, right? Okay.
Oh,
Do you want to stick around?
That
We're
was an
take a break.
awkward pause right there.
You know what?
We're way
I
behind.
was just reminded you're a huge.
What other weekly appearance could I completely discuss?
No, that was it
No,
for the
no,
week.
no.
Yep.
It's all just bonus time now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would remind you because you're a U2 fan. This whole show now reminds me of when Bono in Birmingham just popped up at it was the old it wasn't
Saturn? Prince.
no, Bono did it too one time.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, when U2 was in town, but it wasn't. It was Louis, right there on the corner.
Okay.
Louis. Yeah, Bono was in town and just showed up on stage one night, started playing a small little set, sang a song or two.
Oh, you'd love that.
Yeah, Prince
I
did it
would
too.
have. Yeah, I would. This is just like that, huh?
Well,
It's interesting analogy, right?
yeah. You notice how Taylor gets the job offers. I never get the job offers. I don't think the commissioner's impressed with my
Hey,
IQ.
you said you're a lake snob. Do any of our lakes in Alabama, do they meet
They're
the
nice.
requirements?
I'm Indiana Jones and I share a characteristic, and that is that I do not like snakes.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
But there's
got
no
a lot
snakes
of
in
them.
New York?
Not the kind that bother you.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've got some friends with really nice lake places in Alabama.
Do you know there's no poisonous snakes in Yellowstone?
That would be a good place for me.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I really don't have a need to study that fact.
Yeah.
But now that I know that.
So you're like any snake's a dead snake. That's a good snake for you, right?
Not
like,
a big fan of snakes. I recognize they have a place in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
I would just like them to be on my neighbor's property.
That's
not on
right.
mine.
Because like if you kill them and you kill a rat snake, everybody's like, "Oh, you just screwed up." That keeps the varmints away.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm not. I just like them to stay away.
We had,
I'm with you.
we had a poll question the other day, and it was, and I know you're out at the
People
dating
when they
market,
get angry about something are going to be mailing me rubber snakes.
about
now.
snakes.
but what would be worse, dating a girl that had 3 cats or one that had a snake?
It's really not an option since I'm married. I think.
No,
Well,
that's what I say. You're
back
back in the market.
Back
You
in
have
the
to-
single
My
day.
wife had a cat, so
So I
But
think
she didn't have 3. And there's
she had 2 sisters, so the household had 3.
Oh, good point.
there you go.
So I guess you would go
Yeah.
cat.
Cat's your answer there.
I think he's told you snakes a non-starter.
But you know,
for him.
the thing I point out about snakes is you got to go back to the book of Genesis. Like Satan could have chosen any animal out there, right? I mean, I would have believed he had his choice and he chose the snake. which-
Snakes got off to a bad start.
It really
right?
did. I mean, and he's
If
never
you
really
really dig into the way it's
That's
written,
right.
They probably had a pretty good look, and then
Yeah. I would imagine God was like, which
The
one you
whole-
want? And he goes, I'll take that one right there. And he's like,
belly
"All right."
thing.
Yeah.
And then you saw that guy that captured the 20-foot python.
I saw that and it almost bit him.
Yeah, why would you go put yourself in that
I
position?
don't know. And then he grabs it right behind his head and the mouth on that thing.
I'm glad there are people who do that.
Yeah, me too. And I
won't
am
encounter that 20-foot python.
We did a show on illogical thoughts for logical people. Like Dunaway at our Airbnb switched rooms with me the first night because if there was a home invasion, they were going to take me out first, and so he went to the very top.
Lance was on the bottom floor.
Yeah. But my point is, every time I get
respect that thought.
every time I get in the ocean, I think of sharks. I don't necessarily think a shark's going to attack me, but it's on my mind. Is it on your mind?
No. I don't think I'm that tasty. Apparently, you have a much.
Well, the shark doesn't know till he bites, so that's the thing.
Yeah, I do.
My irrational thought is like when I go to like championship games and wear the same sport coat for like the 3rd straight game.
Is that a superstition thing or?
Do you?
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
able to keep up
That's
with it now,
irrational.
though, right?
Or the anxiety I have around games, like I have anything to do with it.
Right.
So not like regular season games, but postseason games.
You know what? All you got to do is keep not a ticket anymore, but your lanyard or anything in the jacket pocket, and then you'll know what you wore it to.
Yeah, no, that'll happen. Like with this one, I don't think I have anything in it, but like in 2 months I'll wear it again. I'm like, oh,
That's
what last
custom
time-
from Shaya's, by the way.
How do you
Am I
Actually,
wrong?
a different store. Now you outed me for having shopped at a different men's store. It is custom. Thanks for that. Ken, most of my stuff's from you.
Yeah.
They're not a
This
sponsor
is
right now,
Hinton
so
and Hinton. I was in Oxford and I fell. I strayed.
that's okay.
Well, you got to spread the SEC love. I
Yeah.
mean, you're the commissioner to 14, soon to be 16 campuses.
That's right.
I mean, Shaya's is one of the best men's stores out there, though.
Yeah, very much.
I mean,
so.
you've been around.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Because I
very
think
supportive.
Paul used to get his. I think Paul's got a tailor now in Charlotte, and they've got some kind of big time.
What do you
location
think Paul's waist size is?
I
That
would
is a
bet Paul
steady-
is a 28,
Yeah.
maybe.
Oh, do you know the waist sizes of all the network employees?
Hey, we went to a steakhouse with Paul for dinner one night.
Oh,
What do
you
you think
should've
he
seen
ordered?
it.
Salad.
Rockstar, describe what Rockstar ate or Feinbaum ate that night at dinner with us.
He had his hands up and he said, I will just have a baked potato. As a side, no, I just want a baked potato. You want toppings on it? Nope, just the baked potato. No butter? No butter, just a baked potato. He ate every single bit of that baked potato.
Get it all.
I like
There
the
was
skin on
nothing-
baked
there was
potato. Do
nothing
you?
like
I'm a fan of the baked potato. It's not, it,
And that one
it goes into starch and sugar in your body, so you got to manage yourself.
Yeah. Oh, he ate every bit of it. I think he might have put salt and pepper on it. I can't remember.
But that was it. There was no salad. There
Nothing.
was no steak, no meat or anything.
Have you ever had dinner with him?
Yes.
Did he eat a normal dinner?
I think we were too busy telling stories among the group that I just don't pay attention. I don't have a need to retain what other people are eating.
He ate a Uncrustable next to me at an Iron Bowl once.
I mean, that kind of stuff pops out, doesn't it? If somebody's just ordering a potato at a steakhouse with nothing else, and you're in a press box, and a guy pulls out an Uncrustable.
And it was wrapped in foil. Like, I mean, it was still in the plastic, it was wrapped in foil. And like he reaches it, Paul's got that satchel like he's delivering mail, and he picks it up and he puts it in his lap and he flips the flap.
Was it the Uncrustable made by Smuckers?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
Those things are so good.
But then wrapped.
No. He had put it in his bag wrapped in foil. I assume to keep it cold. And then he unwrapped the foil. And
we have them available on the golf course at our golf tournaments, and I was not introduced to them until this year.
Uncrustables?
Very
they're
good.
phenomenal, aren't they?
Very good. Yeah, Bama's got them in their locker room for halftime.
Yeah. Yeah, we were the media coaches one time, and that was the highlight of the night of the day.
So good.
Because it was roasting outside for April, and we go in at halftime, and they got ice cold Uncrustables.
You more strawberry or
I just kept going back to the table.
I used to be exclusive grape as a kid. I like strawberry better now, I think.
I'm a big fan of the strawberries, just strawberry season in New York where I was. I would say strawberry. It's like, look at me processing. I really have to
I put strawberry
it.
jelly on my Chick-fil-A. We've given Chick-fil-A a lot of love today.
Oh, yeah, but they're good.
I put strawberry jelly on my Chick-fil-A biscuits. Really good.
I don't do that.
You got to try it.
It is a weird thing. He used to put cheese, like the slice of cheese on
raspberry jam. Some big bowl breakfast. Raspberry jam.
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh.
He used to put cheese on his Pop-Tarts, though. Lance would melt cheese on his Pop-Tarts.
This gets overplayed.
Well, you said
there was
you
a
did
day where I just had, there was only a piece of cheese in the fridge, and I had Pop-Tarts, and so I put the cheese on the Pop-Tart and melted it. It was good.
Have you ever had mustard sandwiches?
No.
Just mustard and bread?
When I was a kid, yeah. Mustard
I
sandwich.
mean,
big fan of mustard.
Were you poor, or did you choose to eat that?
I chose.
Yeah. I mean, your dad, I didn't know your dad was a welder.
Welders make good money.
They do okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you were probably a middle-class family growing up, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know the most dangerous job in the world?
Deadliest catch guys, fishermen and Bering Sea.
No, I think he's right about that. Underwater welder was once the job, I think.
Underwater welder?
Yeah, that would be up there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of crazy ways they die.
Yeah.
My father was not an underwater welder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think.
He was
upstate New York, that'd be tough.
Well, they have pipelines and nuclear plants and coal-fired plants and things like that. I worked on a nuclear plant 2 summers.
Really?
Job relationship with the local union. Yeah.
Did you have strict
Still
parents?
functioning. Yeah.
Are you a strict parent?
I don't ask my kids that. I think we had expectations. You wanted your children to learn how to make their own decisions. So our view was, you're not raising children, you're raising adults eventually. And how do you foster them along the way? Big fan of the JH Ranch experience where you end up
heard so
talking
much
to
good
your
about that.
kids.
Yeah.
It opened up a conduit so we could always have, through those difficult high school years, continuing dialogue. So, there's things I missed because I was working and in college athletics. They got to be a part of it. I think we did well. Was I strict? Yeah, we had expectations, but I don't think unreasonably so.
I follow her on social media. I saw that she's been getting up very early with the new grandbaby. Baby's sleeping well for her.
The last time we talked, not so much. It was they came home from the hospital last Thursday. We spoke on FaceTime Friday. As a first-time parent, how careful. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, Hannah, when we drove you home, it's the most careful drive home I ever had. Your sister, 3 years later, I'm blowing through yellow.
I know.
It's
It's totally different, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah.
And so they had to figure out feeding. They hadn't slept the first night home, and you could tell everybody's frazzled. We hung up the FaceTime or pushed leave, and I looked at my wife and I said, we just got a lot smarter.
I forgot what your streak was broken at, doing a mile a day for
3.5 or 35 minutes a day. Yeah. 502 days.
Okay. Are you back on that?
No, I had knee surgery. It's been harder to come back. I just did a 15K race, a 9-miler. So I was encouraged that I was able to continue forward, but I've got to get back at it.
You ever thought about swimming?
I have been encouraged to swim. In fact, at the lake, I was swimming and I was out of breath, but then it's a big commitment. I should have stayed living in Brook Island and gone to 119 to exercise.
Yeah, swimming laps is, obviously zero impact.
I did a lot of swimming when I was a kid, and my doctors told me, maybe you should think about this since this hurts and that hurts.
Steven wants to know if you're going to go see U2 in the Sphere in Vegas.
I am. I have
Are
2
you?
sets of tickets.
Oh, really?
One opening night, but I don't know if I can make that happen.
When is it?
September 29th.
Probably a little busy time for you.
Red eye back.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Well, I know because you love you
Don't
too.
dare me.
Don't dare me. I'll do it on the red
Hey,
eye
that's
back.
when we can do our show out there.
Yeah, I mean,
we were asked about it last night. We've got a great setup
in Vegas, and they want us to come out and do shows. We just can't figure out a time to do it.
You got two sets of tickets.
This is National Football Foundation week. You got all your coaches and ADs out there.
When is this?
It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday after our championship game. Everybody heads out to Vegas.
Oh, that's what Marcelo was talking about.
Is that what Marcelo was telling us about?
We've got, we have, I'm going to miss people now. Eric Berry, Tim Tebow, Jeremy Macklin are three of the players, and Roy Kramer are going to be inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame. That's when they go through the Hall of Fame inductions.
Yeah, okay.
You could fill up shows
right
out there.
Yeah.
But I'm in production.
Well, clearly you will hire us for the SEC Network.
This has become so obvious, and the chat room was the first on to this, that you were just hiding out.
Yeah, you did not want. I don't know what's going on the second floor, but you want no part of it right now. I mean, did somebody get fired down there?
No. It's a lot of.
You're exhausted.
I mean, if I
this
leave
is actually
here,
a comfortable chair. I've got Perrier. I just spoke Perrier into existence.
Like, we may have another one over there, dude.
I got a whole bottom roll of it,
and I got a bag of coffee too.
That's right.
Pretty
Free
soon I'm
coffee.
gonna get a free T-shirt or something.
Yeah,
by the way, you sent me a T-shirt with like the states on it.
Yeah, did you like that
is one comfortable T-shirt.
Yeah.
You are buying your T-shirts from the right company.
Well, yeah, we went high end on that.
I'm not sure about the design, but
that was my idea. What'd you not like about it?
I don't know. I just said that.
It's
But
got all the
T-shirt-
SEC states
Yeah,
on
but
it.
the T-shirt itself, I am become very particular about T-shirts I wear based on just the comfort level, because there's this whole modern cotton thing that we got to move past some of those crusty cotton things the third time you wash them.
Hey, what would you have done if USC and UCLA reached out?
well, Lance, we.
I'm a hypothetical guy, by the
We
way.
do this bouncing around, some soft jabs, and he tries to throw the hook at you.
I got to go back to moving the championship.
I actually know the answer to that question.
Oh yeah.
Oh, they did reach out.
Probably not going to share it.
Oh, well, I guess you said no.
Hey, look,
we're all friends.
Everybody's quit watching now. I mean, basically, we're talking.
Yeah,
about
there's nobody on.
Nobody's on. This is only Rockstar is going to hear this, and Tyler back in the studio.
Yeah, and it's live, and then it's going to be in the D1 ticker.
D1
D1
ticker is going to be all over this.
again.
Do you have Mike Bone in your cell phone?
No.
Have you had a conversation with him?
I don't think so.
So they did they or did they not reach out?
I don't have a cell phone.
Well, that doesn't mean they couldn't have reached out.
I don't have a cell phone from a president.
Do you know what a burner phone is?
I do, but I don't.
You know,
I
you
do
know
it
what?
for college sports.
Hugh Freeze doesn't know what a burner phone is.
Okay, we went way off.
Yeah. You remember the line? You went across it right there. Yep. What are we going to do here? I mean, we've got all these breaks left. It is 20 minutes left of the show.
We've got no breaks left.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'll leave.
No.
You want me to read something?
Quick announcement. We are pulling the trigger. Our trash is out today.
Oh, is it? Okay. I didn't know if he wanted to do trash.
Mortgage Right 3, unless he wants to.
I didn't know if he wanted to do trash or four downs. We got four downs, and we got a team unveil. I mean, I hate to be the
no. What we're doing is we're going as long as the commissioner wants.
Well, I think he's,
and then we'll regroup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. This is continuous
Well,
coverage.
I'm gonna make a cocktail if we're doing that.
I hate to tell you about this. I've been with you 13 years. That hadn't stopped you or prevented you. Anytime you wanted one, you made one. Commissioner, hang on. I got to get one sponsor in here real quick. Let me see which one. How about our great friends?
Listening to you.
Our great
He's checking his
friends.
email.
Go ahead and just throw Mortgage Right out here.
Yeah.
Now. Well, this is trash brought to you by friends at Mortgage Right.
Yeah, just give me 1 second here, Dunaway.
Of all the ones I picked, that's the one you can't do.
I can when I pull the copy. I got it right here, though. I got it right here.
All right,
We're fine.
all right.
We're fine.
Yep.
Not a
I
problem.
mean, could you not see this on the SEC Network? I can't believe you don't want us.
Yeah.
I mean, watch this.
I mean, there is a great chance we're going to leave here and something major has broke that the commissioner is staying.
Are you?
I know.
Are you liking the? You guys aren't moving anytime soon, right?
No.
Okay, just checking. Housing
Well,
market
it's
stuff
just,
right now.
Yep.
No, I'm about to do a mortgage commercial. Mortgage right.
And he was
They
trying to
do
get you
mortgages
he was trying to get you to endorse it.
the right way. Locally owned and operated mortgage right. Standing by to help you today. Visit the locations, Highway 280 in Birmingham, Parkway Drive in Leeds. You can apply at mortgageright.com/TNR or call 205-815-9200, NMLS 2239. Equal housing lender.
You know what we're going to do next time you're on? We're going to have one of those little signs that spins around every time we do a read to let you know when we're coming back from commercial.
Can I ask questions? Can
Sure.
I?
Please do. You do the rest of the show. We've got
after show. Do you like have to call sponsors and say, "I'm sorry, I stumbled over the sponsor"?
Oh no,
it's baked into the cake.
You
They
did
buy us.
You did notice I stumbled down that one, right?
Yeah. That's I think that
Or
was
the
the genesis.
difficulty in finding.
Yeah.
And- We know it's here somewhere.
Yeah.
Like, if you say that.
You know how bad he is with technology, though. Did you see him stumbling to look at that and look at all these papers down here? Have you seen more paper other than a Jimbo Fisher call sheet? Have you seen more papers?
Actually, yeah.
Are you a paper guy?
I prefer paper.
I do too.
Really?
Very much so.
Yeah.
And that's when I read books. I like to tell them. But I was going to ask the question.
Okay, please go ahead.
So
My
do you bring your sponsors together for celebrations from time to time?
In fact,
Kickoff party.
I don't think we've announced the date yet, but it may be August 17th for a kickoff party.
Yep.
We do it every year
Every
around
year.
our anniversary.
Oh, do we have a date? I didn't know we had a date.
Well, we've discussed that.
It's going to
date.
be August 17th.
I've got an
most
issue with
likely.
it, but it's.
D1 Ticker is reporting it's going to be August 17th.
Probably so.
Do you? Would you come if we invited you? It's local.
We have an athletics directors meeting that day.
It's at night.
It's a different city.
Is that your
That's
go-to?
like a
Different city.
No, that's legit. I was
Yeah.
going through the map.
Yeah.
I like, wow, I started asking these questions and I'm going to be obligated to something. I'm like, oh, phew, I've got an AD meeting.
Yeah, it's an easy out because
Yeah.
nobody knows. Like,
Yeah.
it's
What,
not-
what did you think of the schedule when it was released in
Oh.
mid-June?
Loved it. I wanted 10. You were going to give me 10, but I loved it.
do you think we'll ever see? Because back when Texas and Texas A&M played, it was a Thanksgiving night game. Do you think we'll see that move back, or do you think the Egg Bowl's there long term?
The Egg Bowl is there for a period of time.
Yeah.
We were talking about a Friday night, Black Friday night game. Potential there?
Yeah, well, I was just at the Texas High School Coaches Association talking about why we're not going to play football on Friday nights, which
Right.
I actually think is an important issue for college.
I agree.
Have a level of respect for high school football.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think Friday night should be sacrosanct. I think it should be limited.
We do have that Black Friday afternoon game.
That's a little different.
Last year, Florida played in Tallahassee against FSU, but we had and I think we had a little bit of conversation with the two schools, to their credit, work with the High School Athletic Association to make sure it wouldn't be viewed as problematic.
Yeah.
You know, it's late in the season, you're in
Right.
the playoffs, depending on when those games are played. So they went ahead and did it, but I don't think more of that is healthy for us because of the impact on high school football, drawing the attention away.
Yeah, I like that everybody got Texas or Oklahoma. I thought that was a really
Yeah,
good
that
idea.
was one of those when you think about decisions that just aren't apparent. We didn't have to do that, and we had a variety of models that made a lot of sense the first year, like having 4 schools or 2 schools or 3 schools not play, trying to figure out another configuration. Wasn't as effective as talking point. Like, okay, what's the first thing that everybody's going to play either Texas or Oklahoma? Boom. Now you have a set of decisions that result from that.
Right.
Matchups that either happen or don't happen. And we wanted to try to protect a lot of what I invented this phrase this week, games of passion.
I like it.
Because it's not just rivalry
Yep.
games, and we get into this primary rival, secondary rival. And so games that really make your heart beat faster, that are traditional games. We were able to accommodate most of what people would describe as fitting in that category. Now we're not going to be able to do that in an 8-game schedule every year. So we're going to run out of that runway. We used it, I think, wisely this time. We also have to make a decision that facilitates if there were to be a change, changes in non-conference schedules. We have to think about the impact on our non-conference scheduling requirement. It's interesting that you have this intersection of the start of an expanded CFP around our expansion, Big Ten expansion. What does that mean? We've done predictive analytics trying to figure it out. Not really a big difference between 8 or 9, but some. And all of those are part of the conversation. And then, we had been trying to figure out how to find a date and time. In fact, talked with our athletics directors in Destin about, a very different time frame for the schedule announcement to make it its own event. And then you saw we said we're going to play 8 games. There was like two weeks of murmuring.
Right.
It's like literally, oh, we're playing 8 games.
Yeah.
And then the here we go and the wow of the program that I thought was really well done. And then afterwards, a level of I think positive feedback of what we presented.
Well, in fact, as a longtime reporter, the story you do after a release like that is, well, what games did they miss? That's the easy story you do after that. What games were left out? And I saw a couple of those stories, and I looked at the lists that were left out, and I was like, we're not really missing much. You did a good job of not leaving anything out.
Yeah, and then you look at you take a schedule. So I've heard different. Look at their schedules, really tough. It's actually a much more narrow strength of schedule variance. It's a much more equitable way compared to divisions where you had a fairly substantial disparity. We've got more decisions to make. My thinking is, okay, we did here's who you're going to play. Then we need another show about when you're going to play them, and then another show about the time of the day when you're going to play them, and then another show about what uniforms you're going to be wearing. Like, how do we make more programming out of these things?
Would there ever be just like a throwback Saturday, not an every year thing, but maybe one year we just say, okay, this is going to be a throwback Saturday, and everybody have a retro uniform weekend?
We've done that in basketball. You don't have the cleanliness, if you will, around like. You can do it all within 1 or 2 weeks because you don't know open weeks.
Right.
We haven't talked about that. I mean, literally all of our energy has been from a competitive standpoint on entry and making sure we're ready. And so we have to determine our 25 and beyond football schedule, our baseball tournament format, our gymnastics championship format. We're talking about format that we thought we decided in women's soccer. Everything else, we've got format set, and those are just make decisions.
Single elimination in the baseball. That's what we vote.
Yeah. Do you think when Texas and Oklahoma come, will it expand the size of the baseball field? Do you think?
I mean, that's the stress point.
Yeah.
The issue for fans is, we've got almost 300 RV spots, for example.
Right.
And those folks come, and if you know your team is subject to double elimination, you can make a commitment 2, 3, say 4 days.
Good point.
Fun.
Yeah.
If it's single elimination and you can be, somebody's got a hot pitcher, you can be out in one day. You can't plan for the travel. So I also look at, we were adding the 2, but we've maxed out at 10 as a high point of teams in the NCAA tournament. I think there's value, at least initially, in letting the 12 with a single first day.
Right.
Double elimination days, and then a single elimination championship weekend. Reign supreme.
You talk about staying away from Friday nights out of respect for the high school game. It doesn't seem like the NFL cares about the college game. I mean, it seems like, and I'm a big NFL guy, but they're coming to Black Friday too. Does that concern you at all? Do you have conversations with Roger Goodell?
I have not. I mean, Thursday was not an NFL day. It was an FCS 1AA day when you think back in the 80s. And you think about the game right at Auburn with the building that was on fire. Was that a Thursday night? Was that?
I thought that was a Saturday night against LSU.
I'm just making stuff up.
Yeah,
it was a night.
But
game,
when I moved to Louisiana in the late '80s, those were all FCS or 1AA games at the time on Thursday, and now the NFL has that space, and people's attitudes have changed. So, yeah, it is a concern, but no, I haven't been in conversation over that one day. We've got a need to place playoff games at a time when the NFL schedule's expanded. So one of the challenges with the CFP playoff is where do you place games, particularly given the NFL migrates on to Saturdays, 2 weeks after our championship games played.
As far as locations on campus.
Thank you.
What?
Is that a congratulatory note for the?
Well, no, but we were talking. It was at Peter Burns. It said even if you've got a bye, you should still be able to host that home game.
Yeah, I would like to see that too. I don't know if that's being considered.
Plenty of opinions.
I know.
Somebody has to make decisions.
I know. You were asking questions though, so go ahead. Did you?
Well, to actually onboard the CFP early, you have to honor bowl agreements.
Well, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're going to be playing those second round or quarterfinal games and bowl games to fulfill those relationships.
Does somebody not like Florida in the scheduling department?
Well, that's you can look at the strength of schedule. Again, it's very narrow, and there's actually a pretty narrow bandwidth, so it doesn't have to anything to do with like or dislike.
Tough schedule.
You tell me any
Well,
voicemail.
Well, look at the schedule and tell me who doesn't have a tough schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
Exactly.
Nick Saban would tell you Alabama does. He was vocal about the 3 supposed permanent opponents they were getting.
Any voicemail ever sound like Lance's at the SEC office?
I don't know the number.
You know, I don't have really much interaction with my office phone voicemail because the people who need to get me,
Yeah.
they
Man, not today.
You got it on airplane mode right now.
I did not actually.
Oh no. I took that as one of the greatest compliments you could give us, that you came up here and put your phone on airplane mode.
In fact, we were working on a T-shirt that says airplane mode.
Airplane mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was going to be on high quality cotton. We were going to send it to you.
The last person that
if
went
I
missing like this, it took them 2 days to get back.
If I had not done this, you guys would be like Coleman now on your way home.
No.
That's teleportation. I've got a theory on teleportation that when it begins, it will be like, do you remember back when you used to have cell phone minutes? Like you only had 35 minutes. Teleportation, when it begins, you'll only have so many miles per year. So you're going to have to make critical decisions early in the year. I don't want to make this drive, but I'm willing to burn up all my teleportation miles now.
Well, you're accepting, like, and I wasn't a big fan of this, but the Star Trek teleportation model versus the Mike TV and Willy Wonka teleportation model, and you need to be careful about that.
That's
because
true.
it's not a
Two very
track
different
record.
experiences.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
yeah.
Right.
Or the fly.
Yeah.
That's a good one too. That's
Yeah.
creepier. I was trying to keep it at a friendly.
Well, I was so glad when Mike TV got sucked up. Was he the one that got sucked up at the tube, or was that?
No, that was Augustus Gloop.
Augustus
wasn't it?
Gloop.
No. Mike TV's the one who teleported, right? They
Yep.
watched him and he came back and he was really small.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not dark.
He
The
was
fly is, but that's not.
It was all him.
He was a
a
kid.
fly head.
Yeah.
Hugh Freeze sounded today like he was going to teleport through every USA Network commercial. He thought the commercial breaks were too long on golf this morning.
Yeah.
He was tweeting that out. I'm excited about the future TV partners that we have coming on board in the future.
There's only one.
Well, you know who I'm talking about, though.
Oh.
ESPN, ABC.
Yeah.
Are we still going to keep that a certain window every week?
Yeah, 3:30 Eastern.
3:30 Eastern. That's going to be the number one selection by
Not
the partner?
necessarily.
Okay.
So we've got some prime time. One of the keys to this new deal, there are several keys. One is, Disney has broadcast with ABC, cable and satellite, and a digital delivery platform. And if you go back 5 years ago, people would say it's going to go digital. My view was you need all three. So we have all three. Really, the only way for us to have more broadcast TV, where there are over 130 million households, was on ABC. And you could have, and we've talked to ABC or ESPN, everybody about this, a noon, 3:30, and a primetime SEC game, which would be pretty cool, all broadcast TV. We've never experienced that. It's been one broadcast TV game a week. You've got a diminishing cable universe. We're also going to be here next year with the ability to share half or a little more than half of our kickoff times for the year.
Oh, you'll have half
wow.
up front?
Yeah, and you'll know all of the noon Eastern kickoff times at this time of year.
Oh, really?
So you can plan, if you're a fan, rather than having a 6-day notice or a 12-day notice, you can say, you know what, my team plays early in November. I can plan now to take, the afternoon off on Friday, drive down, enjoy my alma mater or the team I love's community, and be a part of the game earlier. So there's some of the excitement for us is we've been able to make some adjustments that speak directly to accommodating our fans' attendance at games.
So there is very little we have to do, but they're telling Rockstar is saying we have to end at 4:57. So
you're running out of bandwidth.
We have run out of bandwidth.
Okay.
Do you want to argue with Rockstar about that, or are you good to go back downstairs? And...
I'm good.
I can put you on hold with the SEC office.
Hey, there's a cow right around the corner. Nobody's over there.
Rockstar, what do you want to tell him?
I said I can put you on hold to the SEC office if you want me to get you in.
It's never funny. It's never funny then. It's not funny now. We take it all in good humor.
It's fantastic. Maybe he'll have something for you later this year when Dr. Lou comes back. Thank you for your time. Always thank you for, accepting us when we're on radio and doing this. We we know you don't have favorite shows or anything like that, but we always appreciate you guys.
It was my favorite show when the hover helmet was here because I couldn't stop looking at it.
We'll bring it back. Yes, we'll bring it back.
I could have had somebody come over and just spin the vodka bottle around back and forth. We're back with you in Birmingham tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central, then normal times next week. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, and Rockstar. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, final day here in Nashville for us. We're back in studio tomorrow. Everything's brought to you by our friends at mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag. You've got a ton of stuff to get into today. It's the Redmont Thursday here on the show. Redmont Vodka is sitting here. We're going to have Commissioner Greg Sankey coming up throughout the show at some point here. Maybe in the first segment, maybe in the second segment. He seems to be standing by, so not far away for Greg Sankey coming up here on the show. We'll talk to the SEC Commissioner, Jim Dunaway, Ryan Brown, Lance Taylor over there. The entire Nashville crew is here. Rockstar and Tyler back there in Birmingham in the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, keeping everything online today. It should be Tennessee's day since we're in Tennessee. They're here today. But I'm going to start off with my big takeaway today, LT, is about Lane Kiffin. And you noticed something about Lane Kiffin's day here as we talked to Neil McCready earlier. What did you think of Lane Kiffin?
Well, first of all, he's gotten a lot of sun. So I don't know where he's been vacationing, if he's got a tanning bed, he's playing a lot of golf, whatever. But coming into this week, that was the one thing nobody was really talking about. Jimbo and Bobby Petrino, LSU possibly winning the West, maybe winning the SEC, Georgia three-peat. Nobody was talking about Lane Kiffin, and he always seems to be a story too.
He does. I don't know what it is. It's a great question. Maybe, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know why he would be less of a discussion than he ever has been. I kind of feel like Lance, that it felt like, Hugh Freeze seemed a little higher profile here this week. Nick Saban always does. Kirby Smart always does.
Jimbo was with all the storylines there. So I don't know. It is a little bit weird.
Yeah, sort of a weird feeling for Ole Miss, much like the end of their season. Quinshon Junkins, who's a star last year, I think he takes a step back this year. I'm sure these guys disagree this year, but he was great last year. He was here today. I just don't think he can put up the numbers he did last year again this year, but we'll see. But he said they fell apart at the end because of injuries on their team.
Quinshon Judkins said that?
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people disagree that was the reason.
Yeah, and a lot of people look at Lane and distraction.
Could have been a contributor, obviously. Injuries are injuries, right? Could have been a contributor, but I think most of the blame gets pointed towards Lane Kiffin on that one. And his flirtation with Auburn, his dragging it out, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how to qualify it, but it certainly felt like once that storyline started to percolate, that was never the same Ole Miss team.
And we heard that was a done deal to Auburn, and you saw the internal shots he was taking at the press conference about the water leaking in the facilities. It just seemed like that bridge was burned. I wonder where his approval rating is right now with Ole Miss fans, because he seemed like a perfect fit, and I still think he's a good fit for that program, but I just wonder what fans think now.
I think anytime you pull a stunt like that, whether you are up for a job and don't take it, or you take the perception you're up for a job and parlay that into a bigger contract, you run the risk of burning capital with the fans. And I do think now when you couple that with, getting blown out by Arkansas, losing to your arch rival, and it looking like it's because you're a little bit distracted, you start to burn capital much quicker. And I think you see that. I think you see that with Lane Kiffin.
Yeah.
I think his approval rating was very high with Ole Miss fans, and I think he lost a little bit of it the all season, and he's got to earn that back.
Yeah, and I think what they say, and he has matured some, but I still think he's one of those that if he has an 8-4 this year and he hears rumblings of some of the fan base not liking him, if he had an opportunity to go somewhere else, I think he would jump. And this is one of those jobs now, because when we were talking to Neil, you brought up the fact that he's a top 10 paid coach. He's making $9 million a year. Why would you ever leave? Well, think he would leave if he got on the wrong side of the fan
I
base.
think there's only a handful of jobs, though, Jim, that can pull you away from something like that.
I'm about to tell you about our friends at Legacy, but did I miss an endorsement deal that Lance got with the phrase approval rating this week? I mean, that has been a catchphrase for you, and I've enjoyed the conversation.
I didn't start it,
but
though.
it's like we're getting paid by approval ratings this week. Brown started?
Brown was the first one. He asked T-Bob about Brian Kelly.
Yeah, and so since then, you brought up approval rating.
Well, I just think there's some interesting spots for coaches right now in this league.
You've been conjunction with that approval rating all week long. You've been connecting it one interview to the other. What'd y'all say his approval rating was?
Who?
Lane. Don't move away from that without giving me a number.
60%.
I think that's fair. Maybe 70.
I don't know. I mean, he does.
I think it was 100 going into last season.
Yeah,
it was 100 when they were 7-1.
There's a lot of good he does, and then there's a lot of the other stuff you got to put up with if you're an Ole Miss fan with Lane Kiffin, right? There's a lot of good he does, though. I mean, the good he does is obviously he's had some good records. He has put you in a position where, I mean, Neil McCready is up on all of our social media, and Neil talks some Ole Miss with us, and he's up on YouTube. And we talked with him about the fact that Ole Miss would have been a college football playoff team a couple of years ago. And, you know, the year their only two losses were Auburn and Alabama, and they would have been right in the hunt for it this year going into that Alabama game. And if they would have found a way to beat Alabama, which well, they didn't, but if they would have found a way to beat Alabama, they would have solidly been in a 12-team playoff in either one of those years. So, I mean, that's